Welcome back to Marvelous Chats. We're bringing in the boys. I'll let them introduce themselves. Here we go.
Here comes Finn.
Oh,
Yo, guys. What's up?
what's going on, man?
With a fresh haircut.
I got a haircut. Oh.
Look at him, looking snazzy as fuck.
I know, bro.
Looking great.
Look at these beautiful motherfuckers. I missed you all.
I hate it.
I
I kind of hate my haircut. My fringes haven't been this short since I was a child. But
You're still a child at heart. It's all right.
I know. Look, it is what it is. What's up, boys?
You never.
We got Max here this week. Let's go.
I'm
Yes,
celebrating
indeed.
because I can finally fucking taste this thing. God.
I mean, how long has it been already?
Since I lost my smell and taste,
Yeah.
like 5 days.
Jesus.
Yeah. It was weird. I never want to go through that
Did
again.
you try it? Did you try
No,
an experience?
hell no. Because like
You
I'm
should've.
real like textural, so like I know like the fact that like it
Everything
doesn't
would have
taste
been
like shit,
nothing, but would have been texture.
it would have been it would have grossed me out. Like I bought like soups, mac and cheeses, and I was like, I'm not even gonna eat that shit because it sounds gross.
I feel like you could have got drunk as fuck though.
I tried,
Like-
but like I tried drinking a beer, like one of my IPAs, and I only got through like maybe 3 gulps.
Was
of
it just
because
weird fizzy? Did it taste like seltzer water?
It tasted like fucking penny water, dude. Like someone just like let pennies sit in a cup of water for like a day.
That
And,
sounds
like,
horrible.
No taste, no like nothing. And I was like, I can't do this. I was like, this is gonna make me hate my favorite beer.
Did you suck on as a kid to have that memory just so fresh? You're like, penny water.
Well, like blood has like a copper taste to it.
Yeah.
So like,
That's
so
true.
like, I've had my fair
That's
share of like
off-putting,
bloody
too.
noses, and like it just reminded me of that. And I was like,
That's like
fuck
very
no.
off-putting. Yeah.
Mm.
So maybe tonight I'll celebrate and see if I can drink a beer.
I'm already drinking for you, buddy.
I might even have a shot for you guys just to celebrate. All right, but enough about me. Thank you though.
Man, I got
appreciate it.
skinned on the side of my head. I haven't seen the side of my head yet. I have like no hair there.
Dude, it's gonna be so nice when you go to sleep tonight, though. The cold side of the pillow is just gonna hit different, bro.
Right. Do you ever do like where you kind of lift your head off and do like the quick 180 and then like kind of flop
No,
it
I
in the
do.
air?
I rotate them. like this, because mine's got like it's like a Tempur-Pedic special cooling. So one of the sides has like cooling stuff on it.
Gotcha.
So I can't really flip it. I gotta stay on that one side. So I just keep rotating it in circles that way.
Look at these beards, man.
I know. It feels nice having the gnarliest beard on the podcast.
Now we gotta change. Now we
Alex-
gotta change it to marvelous chats with the bearded marvelous chaps.
Except for Xavier.
Yeah, what happened
really?
there? What happened there?
Double
dude?
at best.
Alex.
What happened here?
Yeah, bro. Beard's gone.
I had to. Well, it's not completely gone. I just had to clean it up.
But it's
The dude,
He might be trying to get new jobs and new places.
That's
so
true.
he's
That's
like
true. Got to be
Mhm.
presentable.
trying to look
I understand.
snazzy.
I
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah, as you can tell, new environment.
the
Hell
dude
yeah,
grows his
dude.
hair like so fucking fast. This shit will be back in like 2 weeks.
Hell
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Love it.
It gets insane.
It'll be like the size of Kyle's in 2 weeks, guaranteed.
Oh yeah.
How was your
Listen,
day,
let me
boys?
enjoy my pedestal while I have it.
Oh, it was good. Just had to get the house cleaned up because Grandma comes home today.
Very good, very good. What's this what if box you have behind you, Max? I obviously have to ask. It's there for a reason.
Looks
Oh,
great.
I get like Marvel Collector Corps boxes with Funkos every 3 months, and these are the ones I got with it. So I got the collector from the new episode,
Ooh.
Mhm.
and then this is a little spoiler, but there's a post-apocalyptic Wanda.
Ooh.
Oh wow.
I
Yeah.
thought that was like a Natasha or something. I can't read the
No.
text. But...
Not Wanda, Natasha. Yeah, Black Widow. Sorry.
Oh,
okay. Yeah,
Do you have any older ones? Have you ever cut them open to see if there's anything inside the heads?
I saw that video, bro. Can you
There's
do
a
that,
ton of videos.
Max?
Sometimes there's like
It got-
heat change and greens.
It got debunked as being fake.
Oh my
How
god.
are these people? These people have pre-cut them and then put stuff inside.
People were like cutting
Man,
the backs of them open
Bro.
and like shoving stuff into it.
I hate the internet, man. You can't trust anything that you see on the
It's
internet.
it's like the reality TV syndrome
from what we
that
talk
like
about.
was on cable. How everything was scripted is now filtered over into like the YouTubes and the TikToks and that stuff, and everything's just fake and scripted now, bro.
Yeah.
You never
I
know
did
what
have
you believe.
I did have a cool shirt that came with it, but I was telling the boys that I forgot to fucking wash it. It's a shirt with Captain Carter on it, riding the Hydra Stomper.
No way.
Yeah. And I fucking didn't even think about it. I was like, oh yeah, I should have washed it, but I haven't been washing laundry because I wasn't feeling good.
Yeah.
So,
nice.
Next week. I mean, not next week. Fuck, man. Hopefully next podcast I'll wear it.
Sweet, bro. Sweet.
If I can make it, because I know I'll be working again.
I did a few little bits to the overlay on the stream. I don't know if you guys can see it. Drunky did up a little thing, top right hand corner there. It's like, have a question, use ask in the chat. I'm like, he just does that in like 1 second. Like, he's like, I sent him like the screen with like our logo and stuff on it. And I was like, what do you think of that beside the what if? And he's like, just changes the whole overlay in 2 seconds. And he's like, here, let's put this here. And I'm like, oh my god, it's amazing. I was like, it's like
Mizuki's the same type of way.
Yeah,
Mizuki's the same type of way. In the past, he's done things for me like the logo that I use now. He came up. We like found something and he came up with it, and like it's just crazy when people do stuff like that so quick. My brain just is like, what? How?
Yeah, true. Clint, what's up, dude? How are you? We got a guy in the chat. Alien Zombie says that Thanos is good. It's a spoiler for What If. We've seen it, bro. We've seen it. There's no, there's no spoilers
We've all
here.
seen it. We've all seen it.
Here.
Quick plug to the new YouTube. If you guys haven't subscribed to the new Marvelous Chats YouTube, it has its own channel now.
Hell yeah.
So I'm gonna throw that out there here.
Myself and Kyle sat down on Tuesday and we put together a little DC video. If you guys want to go check it out. Oh, bro,
yeah, if you're fans of Titans, we got into it. We got into those episodes.
It's great.
It's because of you guys that I started watching Titans.
It's good,
dude. It's for me. It's one of the most bingeable shows because they're really good about like cliffhanging the end of episodes, and if you're into the characters and stuff, it's a good time.
I'm about halfway into the second season.
I actually started up The Boys and Invincible.
Whew. That's some good TV
shows
right there, bro. Fuck.
2 good shows right there.
Well, like I show The Boys to my girlfriend and she's like, I'm all for it. It's Carl Urban. Might as well. I show Invincible to her and I'm like, that's J.K. Simmons, right? And she's like, I don't fucking know.
It is.
Oh my god, it is.
And then at the end of the first episode with that massacre,
oh my god,
I was like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm excited to watch the next episode.
That was my selling point to everyone. I was like, you want to watch Invincible? You want to see how good of a show it is? The first episode, I will put fucking money on it. The first episode will bring you in. You're like, yep, I'm in. Like, because I saw that shit and I was like, yep, you got me. Like, I'm ready to watch this shit.
Well, like, we're sitting on the love seat and I'm holding on to her and she looks up at me and she's like, I don't know if I want to watch this. This is too gory. And I'm like...
You're like, shut up. You're like, shut up, and you're gonna love it. And you're gonna say nothing. Get more popcorn.
She's like, I didn't want anybody's heads to explode. And I'm like,
Holy, he's here. Oh my god. Look at the chat.
The big boy right here.
Yes. I love that. I love.
Holy shit.
I love the spam. That spam is based on 12 minutes. I love that game so far. Yeah.
Sir,
as you can,
sir.
Oh, this is Willem Dafoe knocking on the door, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah, guys! Welcome.
Move.
Anybody who's new in the chat, welcome to Marvelous Chats.
God. Look at all the love. Look at
Holy. Let's go,
sir,
sir,
babe.
Clint, thank you for the shout out for Drunky. Oh my god. This is insane. Guys, if you're new, welcome. This is our podcast. We run it every Friday night, 5 p.m. Eastern. We talk all things Marvel, DC, Star Wars, everything. We get into it.
Drunky's in hair and makeup really quick. It's a quick switch over he does for the podcast. Don't mind him.
He's got a powder up.
Like,
oh my god. Zavin came in with 10 gifted subs straight after Annie resubbing. Oh god, I'm not ready for this. Let's go. Don't even.
He said, "Is this what we're doing?"
Don't even try it.
No, Max.
I gotta turn off the. I gotta turn off the alerts because we'll be listening to Abe going cool all day.
Cool.
Max, what are you doing, dude? Seriously, guys, if you want to just real quick give yourselves an introduction, and we'll kick it
I even
off.
got one.
Let's go.
Oh, cool.
Oh, nice.
Let's go.
Hi, I'm Kyle Crunk.
I'm Saberwolf.
And I'm Mex. Hello.
This will be Drunky once his hair and makeup is done.
Drunky,
you're pointing at me, sir.
He's
Drunky
right here
takes
for me.
camera number 1.
For
he'll
me.
take the
Yeah,
first.
he'll take
the first slot.
Because it goes alphabetical order, right?
Yeah. Yo,
Yeah.
Grandpa, what's up? How are you? Mizuki, what's up? What's up?
You guys might not be able to tell. That's Finto. He's got a sexy haircut.
Oh,
Drunky, told you hair and makeup.
Look at that beautiful motherfucker. Look
we
at
got
him.
Drunky and we got dogs. We got dogs.
Hello, everyone. Sorry about that. Sorry for being late, everybody.
Oh my god, dude, it's cool. Don't worry about it. Thank you so much for the raid, brother. You've just started something insane right now. Oh my god.
Yeah, the hype's going nuts.
It is insane. Dude.
God.
Oh my god. Cool. Will I turn it on? Will I turn it on for a minute? Just for a minute. We'll listen to a few cools. It's already at level 4.
Jesus.
Drunky, did you finish the game? Tell us.
Yes.
Cool.
That's why, I was in the pocket of the very end of the game. That's why I was like, I gotta be. I had 5 minutes left.
Never apologize for that, bro. Did you
get the good ending or the bad ending?
Cool.
I'm not sure. I think they're all bad endings. I don't know which one's good.
Well, I'm in the same boat as you right now. I only found one ending, and you're much farther than I am. So I need to go back to it because as soon as you started doing stuff, my brain started working, and I'm like, okay, I got some ideas of what I could do. And so I'm gonna have to come back to it, but I'm really glad that you finished it.
Yeah, I didn't even know there was other endings or points I could stop that were actual kind of win states. You know what I mean? So it's crazy. That game is wonderful, man.
Oh, dude, I got
good.
one of the worst endings. I literally, I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna call it there.
That's so funny.
So for a game that is called 12 minutes, how long did it take you to complete? How many
12 hours?
12 hours.
6 hours.
What did we get? That was freaking 5 hours and 20 minutes, I think. Something like that.
I love
that sounds about right.
False advertisement.
I love games that have multiple endings. I don't know if you guys have ever played Heavy Rain or
oh yeah.
There was a couple of good ones on PlayStation, Sony exclusives that had multiple what was that horror one? Until Dawn. That was a great one as well.
I've never played that. Is that good?
Yeah, it's good.
It's fantastic.
You can get it on PC as well, and it's kind of you're basically in a cabin in the woods and
Don't remind me. Don't remind me.
What?
Me and Alex almost had it to the point where everyone fucking survived.
Yeah.
Everyone. And then the last minute of the game, one of our characters died.
No way.
Yep. I think we lost 2 of them. Remember we were in the mines and we were supposed to keep going?
Oh my
It all happened within the last hour of the game, and I was like, this game is fucking stupid.
Yep. We got so mad.
Yeah, it's a good game because there's some famous actors in it and stuff, and it's proper immersion. You feel like you're in a horror movie, you're in a cabin in the woods, and a serial killer comes in and people just start dying. It all depends on decisions that you make and stuff like that. I would highly recommend it. Throw it on the list, Drunky, for sure. I think it's on Epic Games or something like that. Speaking of Epic Games, did you see they put I know this is meant to be a Marvel podcast, but we're talking about gaming here for a bit, but did you see Epic Games put in a bid to buy out Sony's properties to release all their games for 200 million, and Sony rejected it?
That's
Epic
too
Games
cheap.
were
Million.
I presume they'd get a kickback even on sales, but 200 million just for Epic to exclusively sell their games, crazy. And they're like, nah, we're good.
Crazy.
We're good, bro.
They're trying to literally
right.
take over Steam. The Epic wants to beat out Steam, honestly.
They want to be the big monopoly.
Yeah.
So is it just the rights, or are they actually trying to buy the games?
They want to buy the exclusivity, that they can only be sold through their
the Epic
through
store.
their launchers. Yeah.
No, we need 500 million, bro.
That's crazy.
I would presume though, if I buy a copy of Uncharted from Epic Games to play on PC, Sony are still going to probably get a pretty hefty wedge of that sale.
I heard it's good just for the company.
Half,
if you're using their game engines, I heard it's so good to kind of do that to go with their exclusivity, because they end up giving, I think, the company back a lot more money, the companies that are using their engines.
Yeah.
Maybe in the contract it was possible that they were going to have it so that any new type of game that would come out would immediately also have an Epic kind of port to it, which would really hurt the exclusivity. Yeah, you know, it would hurt the exclusive. I
know the words you're trying to say, and I struggle with it as well. I struggle too. I struggle too.
Exclusivity.
Exclusivity. It's a hard word, bro. Go on, yeah, we understand.
I see smoke coming out of Alex's headset, like his brain's trying to process the word.
It reminds me of when I was playing Returnal and I was reading a document and it kept saying unprecedented, and for some reason it kept rolling in my head over unprecedented.
What's funny is I had trouble with that word too in Returnal.
It's so good.
Oh man.
But yeah, it's just the like, you know, Sony understands that their exclusive titles are fantastic for the most part.
Yeah.
And so to just outright go to Epic goes to them and tells them like, hey man, we're gonna give you 200 mil and like we're gonna take some of the exclusive rights. And like it's almost like a slap in the face. Like I feel like maybe a few hundred million more would maybe suffice. Maybe they would talk, but then again, it's Japan owned. Like it's Sony, it's Japan. Sure. It's really
For sure.
I mean, I'm sure they just want to get everything on their launcher, and I wouldn't be surprised if Epic has a subscription coming up, a subscription service similar to like Xbox and them, because they all want to get us on subscription stuff. And so if they could get like the Marvel stuff and like, you know, all those characters through their subscription service, they'd be making bank, and they know it. And it's all about like market share. They want to capture it now. Because, you know, in a couple of, 5 years from now, that's all there's going to be. It's going to be subscription services. Yeah. There's not going to be consoles. There's not going to be all these other platforms, it's just pay $5 to $10 to this company and get all their games.
Sure, right. I don't know if you've seen this, but Microsoft, again, I don't want to go too techie into kind of work shit or whatever, but Microsoft have just launched Windows 11, and that's going to be optional for like remote use, so you actually just buy a subscription to it, and what you're buying is a virtual machine, so you can buy any browser, like any laptop. You can get like a little Chromebook with fucking 8 gigs of RAM and a tiny little drive on it with nothing, and then you just log into Microsoft.com, put in your email address, boom, up comes your virtual machine, and that's your Windows. Like, so
they're just gonna start having servers that are just dedicated to all these virtual machines.
Yeah, that's it. It's all virtualized.
It's just so
terrible existence we're walking ourselves into.
Yeah,
dude, right. Like I agree with
we're using a virtual world to access a further virtual world.
This is how we get Terminators.
Yeah, for sure.
And at that point, they should just do it. Like
this is gonna have. I mean, this is gonna open up a really weird further window of like anonymity. I can't now. I'm gonna have a hard word. Anonymous. And
everyone's struggling.
An enemy. But
guys, sharpen up when you drink some G Fuel. Jesus Christ, come on.
Oh, dude, I'm drinking right now.
It's because it's almost like how is there going to be any ownership over that? You know?
Yeah.
For the activity that they do, that's kind of weird. That's sketch. Wait, is this live now, or they're starting this with the official launch of?
I think it's in beta at the moment, and you can virtualize at the moment as well. So.
The cool thing I heard about Windows 11 too is they're gonna solely focus on gaming too, so it's gonna be more like leaning towards like gaming rigs and like how do you say, like improving the experience on like your computer to make it easier for your like rig to run shit now.
Yeah,
I'm kind of worried about how they're gonna optimize that, because they've been doing a terrible job so far. So hopefully their team working on it does a fantastic job, because other than that, I turn that shit off.
Yeah, because everyone's becoming PC gamers now, so this is their chance to fucking like improve, and like just like capitalize everything and become like the top dog when it comes to gaming.
I gotta just mention one more thing before we go into what we're actually here to talk about. But did you see? I know, we get all of us together. Look, we're Twitch streamers, we're gamers. Gaming comes first, but at the same, we're supposed to be talking about comic book shit. But did you see? I literally just read this before I went live, but apparently there's been some sort of like corruption with the Xbox consoles, that you can, on some of them you're able to play PS1 content on it. So the new Xbox actually can play PlayStation 1 discs. So what the fuck is going on?
Xbox Master Race.
Like, there's going to be the biggest fucking lawsuit for that shit ever. Like, even if it's a mistake or an accident or it's, a fluke, like, Sony are going to be suing the shit out of Microsoft right now.
It has to be like an emulator or something for sure.
I think people are popping PS1 discs into the brand new Xbox, and it's like booting up content, and people are playing PS1 classics on the fucking next gen Microsoft boxes. Wow. Like it's insane. It's a legal minefield, is what it is. It's crazy,
right?
Yeah, I don't know.
But if you think about it, like a lot of these companies, they do under the table deals that may or may not have gone down. So like, if something like that is so effective to work, who's to say that they weren't talking about it and then they had the architecture built into it just to see how it works, and then when they saw it, they were like, you know what, actually we're going to back out. But some consoles kept the architecture. True. So you never know, and it's all a conspiracy thing. But like, you know,
I would put money on it that the PS5 right now has the capability to play anything, PS1, 2, 3, 4, and all they got to do is just send out a quick software patch to switch it on. Like it's the same with all these new cars that they're bringing out. Like, you know, you buy an entry level car now, like a Tesla, and you go onto your iPhone and you can just literally start buying upgrades for the car through your phone, and you pay with your fucking, it scans your face to pay for a $2,000 upgrade, and then bang, you've got an extra 300 horsepower in your car. Like, this is the world we live in right now. It's insane.
That's how Tesla sell upgrades like phones, like 10,000.
You buy like an app. You buy like an app on your phone. It's insane, bro. Okay, guys.
And it's. Oh, sorry. I just wanted to clarify one thing. Like, you know about the PlayStation 3, right? How it used to have its backwards compatibility.
Yeah.
So there were two 60 gig models, or I think it was a 60 and 80 gig. So the 60 gig had a built-in emulator, so they could play both PS1 and PS2 games in addition to the PS3. Then they made software for it on like the further models, and then once they made the slim models, they got rid of it entirely. And I know it's for marketing reasons, like they don't want you to just flat out like use the old games and not buy the new ones. But like still, like people love playing their old games. Let them play it.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%, bro. 100%. Like I would absolutely go back and play some, like I was digging through like a bunch of like a pile of like old games and stuff like that, and I found the original Assassin's Creed for PS3. Like you definitely like just pop that in and just have a go, like, you know, why not? Like, if I had the option to do it, like, for sure.
Good old-fashioned Altair action.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I played a lot of Legend of Dragoon in the past, like on the PS1. I don't have the discs anymore, but I still have the case. I love that game so much, and I wish I could go back on the PlayStation for it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, what if?
Have all that up for you, you know, just to repurchase. They're just waiting one day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, guys, here we go. This is the official start. So, yeah, we're just going straight in. What if episode 2? Anybody in the chat who has not seen What If? We're discussing Wednesday's episode of the show. Came out on Disney Plus. It's episode 2 of the series. I believe there's 9 episodes in the first series. So if you haven't seen it and you don't want to get spoiled, please, you know, mute the tab. I appreciate everybody hanging out, but if you don't want spoilers, this isn't the place to be right now. But I appreciate every single person that's here right now. You guys are amazing. So usually what we do is we'll talk about the we'll do a quick round table, see what people had, and then we'll just start breaking it down, go through with theories and all sorts. So who wants to start? I kind of want Mex to start because he's not usually here. This is a bit of a special appearance today. So kick us off, Mr. Luther.
All right, so is there any topics I should like tackle first, or like do I just kind of go off on what I felt about the episode?
Yeah, give us like a out of 10 rating for the episode, and then maybe just like a few bits that you loved, because I'm sure that'll just spark the combo, and we'll go from there.
I think personally this episode was really good. Really good nostalgia factor, because I did like the first Guardians movie. I thought it was really good, and I think what they did and how they flipped it all kind of like worked out perfectly. So I'd probably give it like a 7. Like, I don't think that it personally held up with the first episode, because the first episode was just a full-blown banger. It was fucking great, you know? But second episode was good because obviously we all miss Chadwick, and I think he did a really good job. And the comedy was there, just like how the first Guardians had it. And I love how they flipped everything, you know? Like, Thanos was a good guy. You know, he was part of the Ravagers with them.
Yeah.
And the whole intro scene where, like, Star-Lord was going to take... I forgot what that fucking thing is called, but like how Ronin's like
the stone, the Infinity Stone, you know.
Power Stone.
Yeah, well, how like Ronin's guards were like, wait, like you're the Star-Lord,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh my god.
An exact,
And it's like-
an exact
Star-Lord
180
is
on like poor like Peter Quill, and he's like, I'm Star-Lord.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, who? Like, you know, they don't know who he was.
Exactly,
like, yeah,
you know?
it's the full 180. I thought that was very clever.
Just-
Yeah.
That whole start was good, you know, and like seeing like the whole part where he was like, oh, like a Ravager never like flies solo. And he's like, I said like a Ravager never flies solo. Like the whole comedy from it was just like great to me. I was laughing the whole time, beginning to end. And I personally thought it was a great episode. You know, like I think what they're going for with the series so far, I think it's going to go in a good direction. Because with that trailer I saw earlier of the What If, I didn't know that they were going to do like their own twist on the Avengers, you know?
Yeah, bro.
So I was like, oh wow, like this is what they're building up to. Like this is going to be like an Avengers style thing, but with all the different What If characters.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, like I think it was good. I'm excited to see where it was going. I liked all the cameos we got to see. You know, we had like Benicio del Toro playing the Collector again.
Yeah.
And then we got to see like Howard the Duck, like all that shit. I was just like, oh my god, this is great.
Does anybody else, or is it just me, but does anybody else, when they're watching the episodes, go on to like IMDb and check that it's actually the actor? Because they kind of sound different. I don't know, or is that just me? Like, I'm seeing like the Collector and I'm like, that doesn't really sound like him. But I'm like, oh my god, it is him. Like, and then like Seth Green played Howard the Duck. But again, it doesn't really sound like him. You know?
Yeah, I almost don't want to get into that, because then I'll start getting like, I'll get kind of like my hopes up, like, oh, is this, if I ever find the ones that aren't actually, you know, same actors, then I feel like I'm kind of setting myself up. So I just kind of, like you said in the very beginning, when you kind of, again, not to call you out, when you kind of made fun of Chadwick's impression of himself.
Yeah.
Before you realized it was actually Chadwick.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's like one of those. It's like they could just be having more fun with it. And so I'm just going to take each episode for what it is. If it is their own actor, a lot of them will be able to tell and it'll stand out. But if not, so be it. We'll just, hopefully it won't be too big of a letdown. Like, I feel like last week there was kind of a letdown with the bowler guy. I can never remember his name, the guy with the bowler hat in the jail. Yeah. Him not being the same gruff dude, that kind of, but
yeah.
How crazy is it that Dave Bautista didn't get the call? Like, what the fuck is going on there? And like, the guy
Disney also said that they said that they hit him up, and I don't know, like someone's lying. Someone here is lying, or it could have been the PR guy, like he's supposed to answer the call.
I think Bautista would have done that for free, to be honest. Like, because if you've ever seen an interview with him, he's like the nicest guy in the world, and he is so grateful for the role of Drax because it literally changed his life. Before he got that job, he was borrowing money to buy Christmas presents. He had nothing, like, so literally getting the role of Drax changed his life. So how he would want somebody else to voice that character before his contract ends and the character's killed off or whatever's going to happen is crazy to me. That does not make any sense. There's no way he didn't answer a call from fucking Disney. Like, come on. Kevin Feige,
no, and
this
I completely
call.
agree
Yeah,
with
fuck
that.
him. I'm not going to ring him back. Like, no. I don't
And
buy
at first
it.
I
don't buy
like,
it.
You know, maybe his lines weren't going to be that long. You know, the part of Drax wasn't that big inside this episode. So I was like, oh, it was like 2 lines. You know, Disney was like, why bother? We'll just bring someone in real quick, do the lines so we don't have to get a big contract or anything rolling. And then at the very end, Kurt Russell hits like 1 line.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, okay, like,
Yeah.
fuck Dave Bautista, apparently, Disney. Like,
Vin Diesel?
Vin
Diesel?
Even Chris Pratt was 1 line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, like, Vin Diesel, for Christ's sake. He said 3 words in the MCU. That's literally it. Like, and he's getting paid bank, bro. He's getting paid bank.
I would say for me, this episode, I would have to throw this to like a 7 out of 10, man. Like, it's not that like I dislike it. I feel kind of empty about it. I feel like hollow. Like, there's just nothing there. Like, I understand it's not supposed to be, you know, that connected to everything else or that big, like their own little stories or whatever. But when it comes down to it, it's like they're relying on the idea that you need to know, or that you already know these characters going into this.
Yeah.
And so when they're telling this story, it kind of like doesn't feel like it's a full story, because you're already supposed to know up to this point what this character means. And like the joke is why they're different. And if you don't know that stuff, I don't think it's as good of an episode, right? Like, seeing Drax as a bartender probably doesn't hit the same as if you know the story of Drax and like his daughter and wife being alive and stuff. I thought all the voice acting was pretty good. I thought it was actually better than the first one. And I'm kind of there with Max, where it's like, I actually thought this thing was a lot worse than the first one, because it was cool. It was interesting a little bit. but it just didn't have like the action sequences that the last one did, where I was like kind of like holding my armchair like, this is fucking awesome, man. Like she's going through the plane. Like they have these huge cool action moves going on, and this was just kind of like them running around and like pew 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 and like punching someone real quick and like moving on. I'm just like, where's like the big moment, that stopping moment?
Yeah.
It just kind of missed that. And outside of that, I really do like how they're answering the question. They open up the show. It's like, is it your nature or is it the nature of your surroundings? Whatever. There's that quote, I forget.
Yeah, nature or nurture.
And it's really like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And so it's like kind of trying to answer that, like, you know, is it the nature or is it the nature of your surroundings? When like someone like T'Challa, who was raised a certain way, behaves a certain way when he's actually the one who's kidnapped, versus Peter Quill, who would have just grown up to just kind of be a janitor, who's kind of like, you know what, I guess I will steal this and like kind of be a shadier character. I like that they're addressing that, and I hope that keeps going where they're playing on that theme. But yeah, like that's a low 7 out of 10, like almost a 6 out of 10. It was a weak episode for me. It's just
Yeah, and I'd have to. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'd go 7 out of 10. I kind of see the first 2 episodes as like a yin and a yang. The first episode we saw, they really kind of stuck to the script, but just tweaked a little here's and there's. Whereas this episode was kind of, you could see them playing with it a lot more. I mean, we have the idea that this Cha-Cha as a Star-Lord is such a good person that he just convinced Thanos. He's like, yeah, you know, he convinced me. You know, they really kind of just go to the extreme on some of these things, like, and the reveal with the Collector being kind of the big bad. I really do like that, just because he's kind of like, in the actual MCU, he was kind of shown as like a weirdo. And I like the idea that like he's this evil, benevolent guy that's just trying to collect and kill and have everything to himself, and they really embrace that dark side of it. So this episode, I enjoyed the fact that they're having a lot more fun. We see that there's obviously going to be another season. They're setting up each of these episodes with like a cliffhanger at the end, and each time, like, I think almost the cliffhanger of this one was better than the entire episode. Like the idea that we're going to have ego raising Peter Quill, now that's already an adult, like, to be this evil guy and like he's still part alien, you know, he's still part, you know, planetary celestial. So this is going to be really cool to see the continuation of this in the next episode.
Yeah,
for
sure.
And I agree wholeheartedly. And yeah, I also give it a 7 out of 10. This was it was really just I don't know, like the way I see it, it's like one of those like, yeah, you're the greatest, man, you're the greatest, like, and honestly, yeah, Chadwick Boseman was an awesome Black Panther, and I loved him very much. Rest in peace, buddy. But like, they really pushed it like really hard, and basically made it like as if Peter Quill was nothing.
Yeah,
and I really didn't like that. Like, at least show that Peter Quill had some sort of merit, not just like straight up T'Challa is just the end all be all keeper of like destroyers. Like, basically he kept everybody in check, and it's like, what, really?
It's kind of a slap in the face, like, yeah, this is what you guys got, is because Peter Quill's just such a piece of shit. There you go. But right? Now we got Chadwick here. Look what happens. Literally, Peter Quill's a piece of shit. He ruined the entire MCU. Everything happened because Peter Quill's a piece of shit.
I really like what you're saying, Alex, actually, because it's something I didn't really think about when I was watching the episode, and I kind of think, just thinking about what you're saying here, like, and I think what they're trying to do is make it out that Peter became one of them, you know, like he turned to the dark side, you know, he became, you know, a crook, like, whereas nothing can break T'Challa, no matter when he gets picked up. Like, he's 8 years old and he's getting taken from Earth, but he's still that good soul, no matter what happens, no matter where he is in the galaxy. So it's not something I thought about, and funnily enough, it actually makes me kind of like the episode a little more now when you think about it. Because is it because he doesn't get the chance to punch Thanos and start the whole problem? Oh, bro, like, I only saw a meme there. It was like, thanks to Peter Quill, we got the multiverse, basically, because Peter caused the snap, and then the snap was then the Hulk then, with the staircase ended up causing Loki to get the stone, and then, the Loki show happens and all, and it's like everything just goes back to fucking Peter Quill. Like, it's very, very good, very good. I love it.
But yeah, like it's just the show was just a big like, oh my god, like party fest kind of situation, and we're already gonna get Party Thor in the future.
Yeah,
like we're already in the making for that. So why make this like it just feels like this was the last episode, to be honest. Like if this were the series, this should have been the last episode, and just kind of showing off like
I kind of like that idea too,
because it's like what if everybody just was happy. Like, seriously?
Well, like he had like the collection of all the Avengers weapons and stuff, and then he's pulling out like if this was the last episode, it would have been cool to see him use like Captain Britain's shield, that shield. It'd be cool to see him use a little piece of every episode that they had.
That was actually Steve Rogers' shield, wasn't it?
Yeah, they had Steve Rogers. That's what I'm saying. So if they did have it at the end, I think it'd be cool if they would have done it that way. Yeah. It's just pull something from every episode in like. Because he had like two versions. He had the broken version of the shield, and then he had the before and afters on everything. You know.
Yeah.
And it's that big, and it's that big moment, that big reveal that I was just like, yeah, whatever. Of the list of weapons that he has, and my only thought was, why did Thor put his stuff away? Seriously, like at what point did he need to just put the hammer away and be like, all right, you can have my stuff? Because like literally, Hela's helmet. Thor's hammer. I think Loki's daggers are there. We've got the dagger.
Helmet.
Yeah,
that was the Night Elf dagger that was created.
Yeah, the Night Elf.
The Night Elf dagger. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So and like Cap shield, and it's
I mean, it's more the idea that this is like I said, he's the big bad. He's the evil Thanos, and like he took these by force.
Yeah. It's like they're his trophies. He killed everyone. Like in this universe, he's the big bad. So that's his trophy case basically. Like so.
It's like even everybody acts so scared of him. Yeah. Everyone's like, yeah, if we're going against the Collector, that's a losing bet. So they definitely make him out to be like the replacement.
One thing I loved is the fact that he had the Black Order working for him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh my god, like all these like badass.
They were just like security too.
They were drawn so perfectly.
Like security, breach here.
Mm-hmm. They were drawn perfectly, and like they again, I think they had like the actual voice actors and everything, and it was perfect. It was great. It was great.
But that's the one thing I really. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry.
No, go
ahead. I just wanted to finish with That's the one thing I really don't like about the trailers that we've had so far is. We wouldn't have known that the Collector was a big bad had he not been revealed as like a fight scene in the trailer, which really bummed me out because I like at that point I'm like, yeah, we already know we're going to be fighting, the Collector. Yeah. It would have been nice if we had seen him and he had shown his collection or something, and then that was it. It's kind of like when T'Challa comes out from the front end and says a Ravager never flies solo. That's cool, but like. Us just knowing from the trailer that T'Challa becomes a Ravager is good enough for me. I don't need anything more. Yeah. And I feel like the hype is already there. So to add more to it, like we already know Yondu's going to be part of it because the only way T'Challa becomes Star-Lord is if Yondu picks him up.
Yeah.
So we're already aware of this. So like I don't understand some of the trailers that come out and they're like, "Oh man, Collector," and it's like, yeah, so like when the episode comes out, it's like, when do we get to the fight now?
This is Hollywood, bro, right? They ruin everything with trailers, like,
I feel like they stretch everything just a little too much on this,
just
too.
A little bit.
Like when he goes in there to steal the thing and he's a fanboy, not only is he a fanboy, but he wants to also join the team, and he does. Not only did he convince Thanos not to be this big evil bad guy, but he also wants to join the team. Like it's like everything was to the extreme. So that's kind of where it got me. It was just kind of like I kind of at that point was like, all right, let's just see how this let this episode have fun and see how it works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it also answers the other what if question of what if Thanos joined the Avengers. This is just a segue into what if Thanos joined the Ravagers.
Did everyone else notice Gamora not showing at all in the episode? What's with that? Like,
I presume if Thanos is good, her planet is still alive, so she would never.
Okay, but what about Rocket Raccoon, Groot? Like, I feel like a lot of people are just missing from this.
We never went to the prison.
Yeah, I think we wouldn't have seen them in the prison because Peter would have been arrested with the fight with Gamora on that planet.
It just makes me sad that in this universe that like they're just not even. That'd be cool to have maybe Rocket Raccoon, and he's just not so stealing.
Yeah,
all the time.
President.
I mean, we've got
maybe in this universe, Cha-Cha gets Groot to say more than 3 words. He educates him. He's like, you know what? We can't have this guy walking around with a 3-word vocabulary. Like, it's making us look illiterate out here, and it's kind of embarrassing. Let's teach him some more words.
You just don't speak Groot. He's saying a lot of words. You don't speak Groot. All right, it's a very complicated.
Let's make him bilingual. That's all I'm saying.
Well, Kyle, you need to take Groot classes in Asgard.
Yeah, duh.
No, the disrespect for Korg, though. The disrespect for Korg. I was like, yeah, I took this off a real mouthy, whatever Korg's race is, and I was like, how dare you? Korg is one of my favorites.
I'd say Taika Waititi probably wrote that line himself, like, you know, for sure.
He should have had him had his head assembled in a thing. He's like, you're just grabbing his arm off him. It's like, hey mate, be careful with that. Something like that. That would have been like just having Korg's voice.
My favorite part about the endgame fight scene is when Korg and Drax are fighting together. It's my favorite part. Like, it's
so cool.
Scene.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if Taika doesn't make an appearance in this somewhere. He's got it.
Yeah.
Speaking of such, like Meek, he's a grub now. In the Planet Hulk movie, he's an actual warrior, which is so weird.
Yeah,
I don't want to get into it. We'll get into it when we get into Thor Ragnarok. But I got a few words to say about that when we get there.
I love the passion, brother. I love it. I love it, dude. Love it. Yeah, I don't know. I'll just give you a few of the notes because I was kind of taking a few notes as I was watching this show. I suppose first thing I was kind of thinking okay, Chadwick or fucking T'Challa gets picked up at the age of 8. Would he still have a really thick Wakandan accent 22 years later? I'm like, I don't know. And why is the show set in 2008? I was wondering that as well. I was like, because it's 1984, and then it goes to jumps to 22 years later or 24 years later or whatever it is. And I was like, that's 2008. Why are we in 2008? Guardians of the Galaxy was 2014. So I'm like, I don't understand that. Again, this is probably me just going way too deep into it. Way
Peter
too
Quill
deep.
much longer to accomplish what he did. It's just saying he's just much more accomplished. He gets it done faster.
Okay.
And, yeah, he does everything faster. He's better. He's a likable guy. He's not Peter.
Right.
Was I the only one? Was I the only one waiting for him to just full blown go into Black Panther armor because he had the necklace on?
I was wondering about the necklace as well. It's how did he have the necklace? He was taken when he was 8 years old. I don't think he had the necklace on.
Because that necklace is the source to the power of his suit, right?
That's what I thought as well.
Well,
that she gives him an upgrade. His sister gives him an upgrade where she puts the suit inside the necklace.
Yeah. That's true.
Okay.
That is true. And sure.
Well, because when he got into the ship, I was like, I swear to God, if he goes into the ship and the armor is just right there, I'm like, oh, this is so good, you know?
Yeah. True.
And that's another thing. Who gives a shit about Shuri, right? What? Shuri's awesome. I like Shuri.
I love that whole ship scene. That gave me I envisioned a whole Star Voyager mission type movie where that was just so cool. I could picture a whole movie where they sent out looking and that ship's going to all these different planets, and I could envision a whole story behind that ship. I think that was one of my favorite parts of the episode was he goes on the ship and he sees he plays that this has been literally searching galaxies looking for him, and then the Collector came across and was like, that's mine too.
Yeah.
Obviously, it made it very obvious that he was going to steal that in the end, especially because his necklace responded to it. And,
yeah, of course.
When the drums come in,
I had that in my notes as well. I love those Wakandan drums. I don't know if you listen to hip hop music, but that album that they released for that movie, the oh my god, what's his name? The rapper
Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick, yeah, the Kendrick album that came out. Has just all the drums between the tracks, so as you're fading into between the tracks, I love listening to that album so much. But I go crazy for those Wakandan drums. I love them so much. Another note that I had there was just again with the Collector and his collection. I was really confused by the Hela helmet because I had always presumed that her power came from herself. I thought she manifested the helmet. and then in turn manifested everything else. But like, it seems that the helmet holds some sort of power. I was kind of like, what the fuck is going on? Because
I
like,
think with
he's like projecting swords and shit, and I'm like, hang on a second. So I was like, give that fucking helmet to somebody else, you know? Crazy. Like, imagine someone like Steve Rogers with that fucking thing on his head, like, be insane.
That'd be silly. Okay.
I think what made us think that she didn't need it because maybe like with the helmet on, she could just like conjure it to just make it disappear.
That's what I mean.
So she's just like, all right, like they don't need to know that this is the source of my power.
Yeah,
you know?
it's like an MMO. She can have helmet on mode or helmet off mode. Yeah,
exactly. You know, so like I figured she's like, let me just hide this so they don't know that this is the true source of my power.
Yeah.
Helmet visible on character. Check that box.
I look forward to watching Ragnarok again and just kind of paying a little more attention to that helmet and seeing what she's doing with it off and what she's doing with it on. You know, because I think if I'm remembering correctly, every time she puts the helmet on is when she starts fucking firing swords out of her hands and stuff. But like, I don't think she does any of that without it. So I'm like, maybe it is the helmet. But I just
it could be
just
hammer.
It makes you look. Yeah, it makes you look at that whole movie differently, I think.
That'd be funny if it was like her hammer and everyone else goes to pick it up and like, just like.
Because like now that you think about it, like Loki had his scepter, Thor has Mjolnir, and now Hela has her helmet. You know, so like I think each like child of fucking Odin like had their own source of power.
Artifact.
Yeah. So to say, you know,
for sure.
And then only Thor's had the curse on it that like he had to be worthy because of that whole period where he was just going out slaying shit.
Because he was a total butthead.
Yeah, and he had blonde eyebrows. I mean, if my kid had blonde eyebrows, I'd put like a worthy claws into his hammer as well.
I'd probably hit him with the hammer, to be honest. If I saw that, imagine Odin, smacking the eyebrows off him.
I also wish I would have saw more of Howard the Duck. I hate the fact that they left him at the bar. He was like, hold on, it's like happy hour just started. I was like, that's all we're gonna get of him. Like at least
I love the fact that they even broke him out. Like they could have really shanked us and just left him in there.
I saw an interview with Seth Rogen, or I was listening to him on a podcast, and he was saying that, you know, he got to do a good bit of work with Chad in the studio before he died, and he was saying that you know, they got to do a good bit of work together. So I presume we'll probably see more of them.
Fun fact about Chadwick too. Did you guys know when What If first came into to life that Chadwick was the very first guy to sign on for it?
Yeah, he loved the idea.
Yeah,
he said he had to be part of it. Yeah,
and it's sad because like the writers and directors were like, this is his last chance to work with us, you know.
Yeah.
And like it's an honor to have him be the first person to sign on, and it's saddening because that was the last time we ever got to work with him.
Yeah, I think he knew what was going on. I don't know if you've seen that. There's a red carpet interview with him. And they're like, oh, are you looking forward to Black Panther 2? And he's like, yeah. They're like, oh, can you tell us what it's about? And he's like, nah, I can't, I'm dead. And like, everyone's like, oh, no, we don't want you to die yet, thinking that they're talking about the character in the movie. And he's like, no, I'm dead. And it's like, oh my God, like, it's just heartbreaking. Like, my heart sunk watching the interview because it's like, he knows, like, he knows it's got him, you know? And it's just, it's heartbreaking, man. Fucking heartbreaking.
I fucking hate cancer, man.
That was a tough one. That was a tough one to read. I remember I think I was streaming at the time when the news came out. I couldn't believe it, bro. I was just like, oh my God.
I was at work.
So upset.
I was at work when I found out.
Yeah, I was so upset by it. Someone was like, oh, did you hear what happened to Chadwick? And I was like, oh no, is there like some controversy about him? I was like, what the fuck's going on? And it's like, could not believe that he had passed. Like, it was just insane.
And he really did a good job with his role as Black Panther. Like,
he did a great job. There will never be any other person like him.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
I think he paid like perfect homage to the character, you know, like just like fully like immersed me, made me believe that Wakanda was a real fucking thing, you know, like this dude really is a king, you know.
You can't convince me that Wakanda's not real, dude. They have technology to hide themselves. Prove me otherwise.
True. Did you hear when that movie first came out? There was a load of people going on to like holiday destination websites and looking up Wakanda, thinking it was a real place, trying to go there.
I will say, I loved at the start of this episode when they showed Wakanda in 1988, how it really looked like kind of an advanced New York already. Like it was already this advanced civilization.
Yeah.
And I really like that whole look on it where you were just seeing the past of Wakanda and then like he just casually runs out of the shield. So I like that beginning part.
I think that's one of the things I really like about the MCU and anything Marvel related. It's all based on actual like areas but although like like Wakanda has its own spot, it's based within Africa. Mm-hmm. So like one of the tidbits in the second episode was that the ship was called the Mandela.
Yeah.
Which is befitting because I believe that was around the time that Nelson Mandela was I think he was captured or he was like, I can't remember when, but yeah, like, you know, T'Challa's aware of who Mandela is and pays homage to him by giving the ship the name, which is, I think, is awesome.
That's pretty cool.
For sure. Oh, the detail they go into is just incredible. Like, you know, they are like creating a universe like of their own. Like, it's insane. I like it. It blows my mind. It really does. Like, I've always kind of thought this, even from a young age. I remember thinking like, how the fuck did someone like George Lucas sit down and create an entire universe in his head and just make it a reality? Like, it's mind blowing to me. Like, you know, and all these.
You read
guys...
the book, Dan?
Yeah. How dare you, sir? You know what I mean, though. You know the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
in terms of this, was it just George Lucas? Because I know with Marvel, there's multiple story writers.
I think George Lucas was the one who kicked everything off with regards to Star Wars, yeah. And now, obviously, he sold it, and there's a lot more people. But I know for, as far as I know, for like the original movie anyway, and then I think, you know, he stepped down as director because it was all too much for him. But I know he did a lot of the writing going forward, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I know that a bunch of authors came in and wrote the novels for the prequels and so on. But again, they're all working off George's source material, so it's you know, it's his story expanded. Like, not everything that's out there was all him, but you know, it's his core story and his characters developed. So
yeah,
it's crazy.
One of the things I really loved about this episode with What If, I think it gives me more hope for What If going forward after they get past this first season, because I feel like they're kind of like playing this one kind of safe and just kind of swapping out main characters and like genders and races. Like, what would it be like if this was here or this was there? How would we treat this world? You know, how are we going to treat Captain America if Captain America's a woman? And like all these people, even though she's a superhero, they still act like, oh, you're a woman. That's cool and interesting to see. But I want to see like the characters we love in their roles, just like with different things happening and different stories being told that maybe we don't get a chance to see on the big screen. And the reason why this episode gives me hope is like Thanos, which Thanos has so many cool stories that we'll never get to see except in What If, possibly. Because like, what if they do the What Ifs, you know, the Infinity Gauntlet saga just in a different way, where we actually get the story of like Lady Death and all that, and like this big, you know, like how cool would that be now that they can do that? Like, that's what I want to see with What If. Like, I just don't think it's that overly interesting in the long term to like just have like these kind of mantle swaps and like, what is this person like in there? Like, I want to see full on stories where like Thanos, like they readdress the Infinity Saga just with another angle. That's the type of stuff I want to see. What If that? I hope this in season 2. I hope they go bigger with stuff like that. Honestly,
I think we're getting there, and I think it's going to go beyond What If as well. I think it really branches out into some solo projects and stuff like that, because I know like some of the guys at Marvel had said like that this is the beginning of an entire kind of division of animated series going forward. So I 100% see that. Like, you know, I know there was an episode that they scrapped. They were gonna do like the whole like Peter Parker getting infected and becoming the human spider, that whole storyline, and they said they had to drop it because it was a bit too dark. But
I fucking love that. Like,
yeah, dude, it
was a crazy one.
Oh
like,
my god, so good.
I feel like as long as they don't put like this is one of the type of projects that they don't have to have a cap. They could have 9, 10, 15, 30 seasons of it, and like Drunky said, we can start exploring. Like, they could have a literal entire season of Thanos What Ifs and go through all his stories. Like,
100%.
If this keeps getting received well, maybe we'll start seeing something like that. Where they'll be like, hey, we're gonna do Thanos special. Next 3 to 4 episodes are gonna be some of his stories. Then we're gonna do this special. Like, I'd love to see that in the future.
I think we're gonna get like a Chris Evans like series, like 6 episodes animated, him just returning the stones, something like that. They'll start doing shit like that for sure, like stuff that they can just pump out real quick in a year, and it's connected directly to the MCU.
I'll tell you what they're not gonna do: anything with Black Widow.
Probably not.
Yeah, I don't know. I was telling Finto this early in the week. I don't know if any of you guys also heard about this. Apparently, as results, kind of like backlash to her whole deal going on is we might have talked about it last week. She got blacklisted from them completely. Her next movie, Tower of Tower of something, Terror.
Tower
or
of
something.
Terror. Yeah.
Yep, it got canceled. She's pretty much not gonna be involved in anything going forward at all.
I'm very curious to see if that'll stay the case when the court case is over, or if it's now kind of like, look, we can't work with you while there's a lawsuit pending. You know, it'll be
if they're this petty before the court case, I feel like they're gonna be staying petty, bro.
Yeah,
probably. But again, you know, they're a company, and you know, there's nothing like she's a superstar. So you know what I mean. Like,
Did you see that?
They just recently they're taking back Johnny. They apologized to Johnny Depp.
That's what I mean. You know what I mean? Like this, like if Johnny Depp can get back into Hollywood after that whole scandal with Amber Heard, and if she can get back as well, like anyone can get back from anything. Like, do you know what I mean? So, you know, her getting a bit greedy about money, I think, is a fucking drop in the ocean when you think of the grand scheme of things with some of the shit that goes on in Hollywood. Like,
and I really don't think it was greedy. It was money due.
Oh yeah, I think so.
It's a release.
Violation of contract. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I agree. I think
she
went a step too far when she's now looking for like subscriber money, which I think is bullshit. Like, but
yeah,
apart from that
is too far.
Apart from that, I'm all on board. I think give her what she's owed.
It's a classic, like they hit back, you hit back harder. You know?
Yeah.
But, like she wasn't gonna do that. She just wanted kind of what was owed, and then they tried to kind of slap back. So she's like, "All right, I'm gonna hit back harder." At that point, so I understand it.
Do you think it's not? Like, do you think it's not really her that's asking for the subscriber money? Do you think it was like her lawyers or something saying you got to hit really hard and try to see how high you can get before like they meet you in the middle?
I don't know how intelligent she is as a human being, but I would say she has a full legal team, and I'd say they're making all the decisions. I can't imagine. I'm sure she has to give the green light, but I can't imagine that she's making any of these decisions. You know, I presume it's a full legal team, and I would be under the impression that it's like, right, look, you know, you're having another baby, you're finished with Marvel now. Do you want to get a big payday and just go into retirement, or start working with different studios? Like, you know, this is probably a good cut and tie moment.
Right.
But, you know, I don't know. Like, you know, there's like rumors now that fucking Disney are looking to buy Sony next. Like, you know, so it's like Disney are they're gonna own everything soon. So, you know, I hope she gets a big payout because she may never work again. Like,
yeah, and although even if it's a joke, like that stuff would be under scrutiny, like for sure. That would be under like the monopoly policy. Like you can't do that. Like that would be so hard, like pushing so hard into monopoly.
Oh yeah, don't they own Fox?
Yeah,
they got Fox.
They've got
Fox. Who'd be left that they didn't own at that point?
Right.
Like
it's just Warner Brothers and Sony. I think they're the main studios that are opposed them. So
do they have Paramount?
Who has Paramount? I don't think they do. Do they have Paramount?
I don't think so.
Paramount's its own company, yeah. Still out.
Universal is its own as well because they still have the distribution rights to Hulk.
I bet they're close. I bet Universal's next close on that list. Universal Studios sitting real close to Disney's properties down there in Orlando, Drunky.
Well, they want it because you know Disney can't put any Marvel stuff in the theme parks.
Yeah.
At Disney because of Universal.
Yeah,
their contracts.
Sure. Yeah, I think all they have is Hulk and Spider-Man there.
Yeah.
Well, Disney doesn't even have it. It's at Universal.
Oh yeah, true.
So like Disney can't put anything related to the Marvel universe inside of their or Florida theme parks. Because
can they in the California ones?
Well, yeah, because I was just about to say that California has Avengers Campus,
and that's why the Disney they can't build that over here in Florida because Universal has contracts with Marvel dating back however long, where only they can do theme park related stuff with Marvel inside of the state of Florida.
Which makes sense.
They're gonna be buying that soon.
Yeah, but in terms of monopoly though, like I think there were some cell services that were trying to either a cell service or cable services that were trying to merge, and I think the FCC, like they came in and they're like, no, this would in turn almost create a monopoly, and we have to stop that, so they squashed it. So there has to be competition between other companies. They can't have it too large, otherwise it will turn into a monopoly.
I think that they could get away with it because even though that would make them big, their competition with Amazon is still a huge competitor. Netflix is still a massive competitor.
Sure.
Warner Brothers and Universals are still huge competitors. So I think there's still room for Disney to buy stuff like Sony.
Yeah.
Will Sony sell? I don't know. Fox Studios was an American company. Sony again is a Japanese studio, and they have much different cultures about like where they want to be, why they run their businesses. We'll see. I don't know how they haven't been able to just buy out the Marvel characters at this point. I don't know, like maybe that's just not on the table for Sony, but it's just I'm like, how do they not have the characters?
I only
right,
read,
like just throwing billions at them and then just taking them all back.
I only read today that apparently they say it's in talks that they're gonna get the MCU characters back from Sony. Now the way I see it going is, very much at the moment it's a bit of a 50-50 split between like Marvel and Disney and Sony. I'd say what'll probably happen is like Disney and like the MCU will take kind of a majority control and then be able to kind of do what they want with the characters, but then probably still have to pay a lot of royalties to Sony. But I think that it's very close, I would say, to them getting creative control. I think
it's similar to with Universal and Marvel, like with the distribution rights. Yeah. So I would see that happening. Yeah. But that's partially why Hulk is not being created as a movie, because Universal still has a say of where it actually ends up, which theaters get to showcase Hulk, and where it can span out, like if it goes out into like other countries. And Disney doesn't really want to relent on that. I get that, like you want to have the maximum amount of money you can, but like if you know that your stuff's going to be a hit, you'll produce it regardless. So they just like, I understand why they may or may not see why like a Hulk movie would be in production.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Is it if Hulk is the main character, they get the decision makings, and if he's not the main character, like Disney can do whatever they want with them?
Anything that has to do with Hulk can be made by Marvel, which is with Disney, but distribution rights for that content is under Universal.
So Universal gets a decision for like where the Avengers goes?
Not for the Avengers, just for Hulk.
So if he's like the main title character of it.
Yeah. In a sense. So like if they were to do Planet Hulk, World War Hulk, World Breaker and stuff like that.
So many good movie ideas, man.
Right? Like it would be insane.
Messy, bro. It's so messy.
And to be completely honest, like I've watched Hulk movies, I've watched Hulk shows, and when Drunky says that Hulk's not a main character, he really isn't. It's mainly just they know that Hulk can smash. They know that Hulk can make things happen.
Oh, I bet he can.
So yeah, so that's the idea behind Planet Hulk. Most of the time he's sulking. He's just like, I don't want to be here. But like everybody else is fighting their ass off, and they're like, we need you out there, mother. Like,
Yeah.
He knows his strength. He knows that he can easily just wipe out shit like that. You know, like
he gets stabbed in the chest in Planet Hulk and immediately heals up, and he's like, yeah, whatever.
and fucking old man Logan, like fucking doesn't like he eat Wolverine, and Wolverine like tears himself out. Like,
oh yeah,
like I don't know if he dies there. Like I haven't read the comic in a while.
He might have had his regenerative abilities like too old, so like by the time he breaks out, he's too much of a bot, like a mass of like nothing that he can't regenerate.
For sure. Is there anything else we want to talk about What If wise, or should we move on to a different topic? What do we think?
Do we know what's coming up next week for What If?
Next week, I think is a Loki episode. Strange. I think it's Loki.
Bro, the
Loki
one it seems too soon. Not showing the Doctor Strange and the Spider-Man as Doctor Strange.
I want to. Well, check it out. He's not going to be Doctor Strange. He's actually considered a zombie hunter Spider-Man.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
With that. Yeah,
so that's going to be tied in with the zombie episode then.
Yeah, that's where the Avengers are going to assemble, because it's like a big zombie threat, and I think that's the story.
And like that's what I'm so excited for, because I am a huge fan of Marvel Zombies. And just like to see like where they go, because like when I found out that like Spider-Man was going to be like the how do you say, like protagonist of that whole episode, I was like, oh, this is going to be great, like.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be awesome to see where they go with that.
I think I know where the Nexus event for that episode is. I watched this video, one of Finto's recommended channels. I can't remember which one, but they talk about at the beginning of Civil War, which I completely forgot about. They're dealing with this like biocontaminant that they're trying to save, and Black Widow has this super clutch catch of
it.
Which
Yeah.
Right.
I wonder if Black Widow now is going to be used. Yeah, I wonder if she's even going to be in it now.
How dare
because
she?
of what's going on.
So
they might have Captain. They might have Cap knock it and break it or something.
I doubt they've changed it that quick. I'd say it'll be.
That looks like that's going to be the origin for the zombie episode. Probably.
I like it.
I mean, in terms of like what they had to cut one episode. So I mean, they have to pick something.
It better not be no Doctor Strange episode, especially when they keep showing the like trailers for it and like. Yeah. Every time they're like, what if? Like, they showed a heavily Doctor Strange, like, falling down into a different universe type. Like, oh, I want Doctor Strange content.
I don't think they said they cut it. I think they said they moved it. So it's
okay.
We're still going to get it, but it's just moved to season 2. And I'm curious if there's a move just because it's not tying up correctly with the movies or something like that, because it's all one big connective piece of tissue. So it's like, I think it might maybe sync in with Spider-Man or something like that. Or
also Kyle, just a quick tidbit. Did you know Hulk becomes Sorcerer Supreme at one point?
The cloak is it like fat guy in a little
it's
cloak?
Oh, dazzles.
Amazing. Yeah, I think so. Next week is, as far as I know, it's what if Loki actually did take over the Earth. So the Avengers happens and he becomes the King of Earth, apparently.
So they lose the Battle of New York, pretty much.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, or maybe there is no Avengers at all to defend, and he just comes down and takes it, because it looks like there's kind of Loki variants and stuff like that. So I think it might actually link in with the show. So I think we might actually see Loki variants in animation as well, as far as I know.
He just like decides not to kill Agent Coulson, so he actually wins in the movie.
Yeah, imagine.
Just no Avengers.
They accept him with open arms. Yeah, so good, dude.
But there's still the threat of Thanos, though. That's the problem. Is I wonder how they're going to solve this situation.
Bro, apparently all you got to do is have a sit-down conversation with him and Cha-Cha, and you're chilling.
Yeah.
Dude, Nebula with the like blonde hair. Nebula, was that the same? It sounded kind of like her.
That was
Again,
her.
I didn't check. Yeah, it sounded
like
that.
What Karen Gillian, whatever her name is, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like there should have even. That's the one reason I don't rate it higher. I feel like even if like the events don't lead to them meeting Rocket and Groot or Gamora, I feel like why not have them in that bar somewhere, sitting there, those three having a drink, just to give the nod. Don't even need voice lines, but it's like. But we're doing pretty much a Guardians of the Galaxy, and we left out half of them.
It seems like it's going to come in a different episode, because we do see in some of the broken pieces of glass that we see Gamora holding dual blades that Thanos has.
Yeah.
So
she'll be in it. She'll be in it for sure.
Yeah. So, but we don't know if we're going to see Rocket or Groot, though.
There's no way Zoe Mandel, is that her name? Is that her name?
Saldana,
sorry, yeah. I'm thinking somebody else, but there's no way that she's not going to be involved. She's always like getting involved in everything.
She's a fantastic actress.
Oh, she is. Sure. Have you ever seen if you look up her like kind of her like whatever you want to call it, like filmography or whatever you want to call it, like her filmography like listing, she's in like 5 of the top 10 highest grossing movies of all time or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's insane. Like, I'd say she is so rich, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
sure.
don't know. I hope going forward, what if like finds their ground and finds their footing, because it just feels like they're missing something out of every show. It's like it's missing this heart, it's missing this like soul to it, like something to capture it. Because I go watch like the DC animated stuff, and I love it. Like I love all the DC animated movies. I think they're fantastic. I feel like they're like wonderfully paced, and they do all this stuff really great. Yeah. And like I go watch these MCU animated things, and they feel empty for some reason, and I don't know why. I can't put my finger on it. Like I can't figure it out.
That was
a little empty.
That was always my argument with everyone. Like whenever they'd be like, "How do you feel about DC and Marvel?" I'm like, "All right, this is what I'm gonna say. I always say Marvel makes great fucking live action movies, and then DC makes amazing fucking animated movies." You know, because you have like Flashpoint, you have like was it like The Dark Knight Returns, like all that stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
and it's like
Batman Ninja.
their visuals and like after their visuals that they've shown, especially in the Loki series, like I don't know anyone in the business that's out doing these visuals right now. I don't like that was the best visuals I've ever seen. Like just thinking back to that last episode and like the sacred timeline and just the stuff that they've been doing, like the fight scenes from WandaVision, like it's just insane.
I like they own cinema, like, you know, it's not even a competition. You know, they're untouchable. But where they fall back, in my opinion, is definitely like, again, now they're only getting started with animation, really, when you think about it. So, you know, let's have this conversation again in 2 years' time and see where we stand then, because I think, you know, you might be quite surprised. I think we're gonna start getting a lot of Disney / Marvel / like, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the guys who are doing some of these like pretty successful Star Wars animated series as well are going to start jumping over to help out Marvel, because it's all one umbrella now, you know. So you know, I'd say in 2 years' time, like, again, you're rating, or like you're trying to compare DC and Marvel with regards to animation, but like, you know, Marvel are only getting started, so, you know, it's not really a fair argument right now. But
it's kind of, but it's not even a problem with the actual animation itself. It's their pacing and their storytelling. It's just like Drunky said, it feels like their animation. The animation itself is good. The quality's good. It just doesn't feels like it's missing that heart that where you're really like with animation, especially, you have to have kind of those emotional connections to the things, because you don't have that ability to like see real people doing stuff and imagining it in real life. So you gotta hit harder on those emotional levels, and when you don't have the heart there, it just kind of, it almost feels like a cartoon for kids, you know?
That's what it is, really, when you think about it.
Yeah, and I agree 100% with both Drunky and Kyle. Like, this is like this is my broad way of saying it. There are no moments that actually matter in either episode. Like, it just feels like it's not like a game changer. And because it's not a game changer, and because none of the dialogue is game changing, and because it's just a lot of like rehashing a lot of old things and then reforming it into like something slightly different. I mean, although like Thanos is a good guy, like we've already speculated like what if Thanos was a good guy in previous terms, but like it almost seems like it's like it was one of those moments where like when I saw Thanos, I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then afterwards I'm like, okay. But if it was like a great moment of like if you sit back and you can actually say, holy shit, I was not expecting that. That is a great moment that you get. That's where you get like things like Flashpoint. That's where you get things like Under the Red Hood. When you finally get that reveal and it's like, holy shit, this ride has been going nuts. And I did not expect that whatsoever.
Yeah.
And we from the moment we saw that T'Challa was being admired by Ronan's lackeys, like at that point it was like, okay, everybody's just gonna like T'Challa. Everybody's just gonna like, okay, I'm ready for it. And then everybody comes in, everybody likes T'Challa. Everything he says, it's always just gonna be like everyone turns into a yes man. And it just didn't feel like it was changing anything. It was just saying that like, okay, what if a different person who was actually liked was in a different spot?
Yeah.
And it
sure. But like I also don't want to like get to the point where they have to be game changing to the MCU, because like they don't really have to be. Because to me, a show, watching like a 30-minute show, like take the Twilight Zone. I think this show has Twilight Zone vibes like all over the place, especially the way they enter it. They're like, where we ponder the question, what if? Like, that's a Twilight show intro, right?
Yeah.
But the Twilight Zone isn't connected. It's all like short stories. But inside those short stories, they pose like really interesting questions to you. There's a really great story being told from the beginning, middle to the end. That like it's all actually important within itself. And I think that's what when I say it's like missing heart, like they're missing a solid story to tell that's fully within itself. They're relying on what you know about the MCU. They're relying on all this other stuff that is outside of this that they're taking for granted to play off. It's like a very meta show. And I think that's where, for me, it's missing it, because like I don't need it to connect. I don't need any of this to connect to the MCU at large. I just want them to be able to tell a really good story, a really good show. So when I walk away after a half hour, I'm like, man, that was fucking awesome, bro. Like I love watching that. I love what they did with the character. But it just doesn't feel like anything is really challenging you as a viewer in these shows. From the story, all the characters are characters that we know, and they're not really changing in huge ways. So it just I don't know what they're doing with it. It's missing that great story element, and I don't know if they find it. I think Finto's right. I think we are going to be surprised. I would love to be surprised about all this stuff. Please surprise me and make this stuff amazing. But they're not doing it right now, and this feels like it's going to be the way the rest of the season plays out, where it's just kind of it's meh, like meh if okay.
Yeah. So Drunky, you're saying, like, correct me if I'm wrong, does this feel like a game of chess to you? Like all the pieces have been reset and just a new like strategy has been played, but it's the same exact pieces.
Right. Yeah, sure. I could see that.
Yeah. I could see like I understand what you're thinking now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I think like even if we kind of cast our minds back and think about like what were our first impressions of like WandaVision, like like that was the first kind of show on Disney Plus. Like this is again the first animated show on Disney Plus. It's the start of a new kind of arc, and like WandaVision wasn't off to a great start. I think maybe they've definitely kind of upped the game with Loki, but again, it's still not like groundbreaking stuff, like and I think we're going to be in potentially an even longer kind of placeholder with the animated stuff. I think it might take some time, like thinking off the top of my head, like imagine what if they did like Tom Holland like Spider-Man animated series like that ran for like 8 episodes or something like that, but it's like the old Spider-Man fucking cartoons that we all grew up loving watching on Saturday morning, but it's in the MCU, it's actually in the timeline, and it's Tom Holland. Like that would be fucking fire, because it's like maybe it doesn't link in directly to a movie. I always kind of say this, but it's like a DLC that you can just kind of go and watch stuff that like Tom Holland is doing while there's other movies going on. Like so you could have an animated series release at the exact same time as say Secret Invasion, for example, and it's like Peter's not here, but this is what he's up to. Watch it in animation if you want. Like, he's still back in New York and he's fighting Scorpion or something like that, And it's just I think it's just such an easy win. And, the reception so far to What If has been incredible. Like, I have like some of my IRL friends texting me going, oh my God, are you watching this What If stuff? Like, it's fucking great. And these guys don't watch cartoons. They're not watching anime. They're not, they're not those kind of people. But they're watching this stuff and they're really enjoying it. So, like, that tells me that the normies are picking it up for sure. Like, so, I think that's definitely where we're going.
I'm hoping that they kind of do like what they did with all the other Marvel shows that they put out so far on Disney Plus, and like towards the middle of the season is where like shit starts to pick up, and we're like, oh fuck yeah, like this is what we wanted, like this is the shit we want to see, because so far we only know that like we get to see Iron Man, like what if Killmonger saved him, we only got to see like what if Agent Carter became a super soldier, and what if T'Challa became Star-Lord. That's the only thing we really know, like there's, because I think there's supposed to be 10 episodes this season, right? I think so.
9. They're moving 9 into next season. It was,
so
was
like
10.
So like we only know like so much about the season so far, and like true. I think like it's gonna kind of like grasp us like the way like WandaVision did, and the way that like Loki did, So I'm hoping that towards the middle of the season it starts to pick up, and we're like, yep, like I'm in for it,
So I got a theory. Okay, so we have kind of been hearing online, and this is again, it's a rumor, it's not really official yet, but there's heavy rumors that we're going to be getting Captain Carter in live action at some point, either Captain America 4 or somewhere else down the line, maybe live action in a TV show or something like that. That's pretty much kind of confirmed, but it's not official right now.
Wasn't there sorry, well, just real quick on that topic, wasn't there speculation that she got casted for the Multiverse of Madness?
Yes, there's rumors that she's going to actually be in that. Now, I don't know if she plays Peggy Carter in that, or if she's actually going to be Captain Carter. So this leads on to my next question is, here's one for you. So, what do you think of Killmonger? Because we know he's going to be Black Panther in this show. What do you think if, after the events of Doctor Strange 2, where we're going to potentially get Captain Carter in live action, if we get Killmonger, Black Panther in live action, and then that leads to him taking over as the Black Panther in Black Panther 2 and in the MCU going forward.
Boom.
That's kind of hard for me to believe that, just because we like saw him die, you know, like unless they pull out
different universe, multiverse. This is a different version of him. It's not him from. It's not 616. Just
this
like
could be
Peggy
their chance to reset everything.
Yeah,
that's true.
Right.
Yeah,
and I feel like this would be a fantastic like bring in, because not only can you make, like, you could totally make a movie out of this, because the 616 Earth is aware that Killmonger was a jerk.
Yes.
So bringing in an alternate universe and bringing him in,
arc and everything, you've a whole story there, like.
Yeah, in a sense that, like, although he's like, I'm not that same person, he still has to prove himself.
Exactly.
Because the rest of Wakanda is not going to be accepting of him, because they're so cautious, they're overly cautious of the fact that, like, what if he becomes the same malevolent ruler that he wanted to be? But he may, like, there will be, like, if that occurs, and there will be moments where he talks to Shuri and says, like, I'm not part of this world, and I understand that things can change within our lifetimes, but I am not that person. And, then he talks to, he would talk to the mother and say, like, this, like, I know that I have potential, but I need you to be able to trust me in order to be who you, like, the person that needs to be a part of this world. And it turns into, like, a more, like, political situation in terms of, like, him trying to establish himself as the new king. And, maybe he has to go out and do a couple missions just to prove himself, or maybe he has to save someone, or maybe he has to work with a few people. Like, if they make a movie on that, part of me doesn't want him to be accepted, like, right off the bat at the end. I want him to be still, like, I want people to still be cautious about him and say, like, you know what, we're going to take you in.
Yeah.
And we're going to give you the suit, but we don't think you should be king.
Yeah, that's exactly. I was about to say that's what will probably happen. He'll become the Panther, but not the king.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think that's probably where it makes more sense.
And I'm down for him to come back from the multiverse, because I've talked about this before. I had no idea he died at the end of Black Panther. I thought he was alive. I thought that they just, like, took him prisoner and they didn't kill him, and that, like, he was just unconscious, and they were just like, yeah, he's going to be in the Wakanda prisons, whatever, and he's going to come back the next one.
No, he's dead.
I did not read that he died in that. I totally missed it.
Well, again, another what if, but what if he didn't die? It's kind of like the same thing that would happen with Martin Freeman's character when he shattered his spine or whatever. They put the beads inside him, and that just preserves him. So, like, you see T'Challa go down on his knees, and he's, like, at the body and stuff. Like, what if he just, like, sealed up the wound with one of those balls, and then they take him in, and then they just rebuild him. So it could happen.
So today I just saw that Shang-Chi was gonna have a surprise return of an MCU character. Pop up in the movie. So, like, now it's like, shit, man, like, we're seeing, like, Wong fight fucking Abomination. Like, who knows? Like, what if the surprise character is Killmonger,
Yeah.
And it's like shit, like, he's not dead, and he's, like, fighting in this tournament too or something,
Yes. Yep, I see it.
Wow, like, that's crazy.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
There's drama with Shang-Chi. It's not going to be releasing in China at all. Black Widow, like, China said that the main character is too ugly or something, or
there's no way that's the reason.
They didn't release Black Widow either in China.
Yeah. To be
Neither
honest,
of those have released.
To be honest, I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? And
I think it's funny because I know
they're just all gonna.
I think it's funny because I know, like, everyone tries to cater to it.
Yeah, they shouldn't appeal to them.
Sell. Yeah.
There's a crazy interview if you can YouTube it. I'm not gonna pull it up now or anything, but it's basically Kevin Feige doing an interview with some Chinese like fucking publicist or something like that, and basically he's asking all these, like, stupid fucking questions about, like, the casting of, this is probably where you heard this from, Kyle, but, like, yeah, basically they're talking about the casting of Shang-Chi and how, like, he doesn't really look the part, he looks kind of different and all this sort of shit, like, and they're just like, look, this is the way we want it to go. Like, you know, we're changing genders and we're changing fucking ethnicities of characters all over the place. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this storyline is no different. Like, you know, we have a vision, we have a direction we want to go, and it's not like the comics every single time. You know, so, you know, get over it, basically, is what he said to him.
Their casting track record obviously has been pretty damn good so far, except for
he's a
Quicksilver.
Legend. He's a legend. Yeah, so, you know, I don't know. I to be honest, I couldn't give a fuck about China, and I think that, you know, anyone who wants to watch that movie from China is gonna find a way to watch it. Like, you know, it's on the internet. It's on the internet, so you know what I mean. It is what it is. It's big for the box office, but box office is dead right now anyway, so who cares?
I've always felt weird about their censorships and like how they do that.
Oh yeah, like they do huge censorships. Like in World of Warcraft when they play over there, they're real. I don't know what it is with their like problems with skeletons, but you don't get skeletons. You just get dead bodies.
They're sacred to them.
Yeah.
So that they don't want to hate it. Like, it's like they worship skeletons as like a sacred idea.
Oh, okay. Well, that's kind of nice.
You know, while we're on the topic of Shang-Chi, can I just tell you how much I hate the way they've released Shang-Chi? And that, like, all these creators have all seen Shang-Chi, and, like, they're all like, yeah, we know the ending. We know, like, 3 weeks before, there's all this information out. Yeah. And now I'm this nervous wreck going into Shang-Chi, like, I'm about to see a spoiler every minute on the internet. Like, you know someone's going to put it on TikTok. You know someone's going to put it on YouTube. Yeah. Like, just clickbait. Like, I don't know why Marvel feels this is like the new way they should be doing advertising, but it's fucking terrible. It is fucking terrible.
I wasn't even tracking that they did that.
Yeah,
this is the best thing we've ever seen. Like, chill out, bro. Okay.
I mean, did they just do like a release to like a movie theater full of creators to post their thoughts about?
Yeah.
Yeah, they fly them out to like LA and stuff, man.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
there's a few guys like Soups. You know that guy Soups on TikTok? He gets invited to all this shit now, and I kind of understand because like he's like one of the biggest like Marvel hype men out there, and I kind of understand that. But I think they're probably going to be giving it to people who don't really respect the whole spoiler thing as much, and I think it will burn some people. Now I think like the likes of Soups and maybe like New Rockstars and these guys, like they're not going to put the content out, but you know that like minute one of the release date, they'll have all their videos just plastered on YouTube. Like they've got the stuff probably done already. They're waiting to go, you know. But yeah, you got to be giving it to trusted people because you know, yeah, it's crazy like that. You know, people like Soups have seen that. It's crazy.
While we're on the topic of disappointing shit, how do you guys feel about the press getting a fucking Far From Home trailer? I mean, No Way Home trailer before we get one.
Yeah, it's going to be at that film festival.
Next
Monday.
I think exclusive to press.
I think Marvel are
going to get leaked.
I think Marvel are going to launch it anyway because it will get leaked.
It's gonna.
Yeah, has to.
Yeah.
I think Monday morning we'll have that trailer.
Situations where they have to get ahead of it and release a good quality one, or they're going to have leaks out there of shitty cell phone quality.
Yeah.
And normally the studios don't like that. They're like, all right, if we're going to see it, we at least want them to see it in good quality, HD.
Some of the big YouTubers that I watch, like, have seen, they know exactly minute for minute, like, exactly what's going on in that trailer already, like, you know. So it's if you're in the right circles, it's out there already, like, you know. So
yeah, like even when you go into YouTube on your subscriptions right now, like, there's some tidbits from like Disney or Marvel that show like a minute long that scene on the bus, like for the fight between Shang-Chi and like those other characters. It's like, why are you showing a fight?
Yeah,
we're supposed to be watching the movie.
I know, I hate that shit. I hate that shit.
I wish I could get like an NFT or something that as my like movie ticket that like once I purchase it, it tells the rest of the internet I don't need to see the advertisement. You already got me, bro.
Yeah.
You already got me in. Stop showing me stuff.
Yeah.
I'm committed. I don't want to see anymore because I want to see.
It happens worse after that. Like you buy your ticket and you get more adverts for it, and you're like, "What the? I'm already a consumer. I've already pulled over. I can't pull over anymore. I bought your ticket."
Yeah, for sure.
As you walk in, you see like a display of like all the characters that are going to be in the movie, and you're like, "Come on."
Take a note of it now. I guarantee you something that we've been talking about today will come up on every single person's phone because all of our microphones are listening to us right now. I guarantee you. Next time you open up Instagram, first thing you're going to see is some fucking ad for Marvel, something Marvel related, probably Shang-Chi. Yeah, it's just, that's nuts. Like, I like the whole teaser trailer thing a couple of months out to build the hype. and then I think you give us like a final trailer, or you know, like that second, like those two. I think they're doing Eternals right. Like, you know, the first trailer came out and you're like, holy, that was amazing. And then it's like, okay, they're gonna release a final trailer now, and it's fucking fire. I think that works, but I hate what they're doing with Shang-Chi, where it's like, you know, there's a minute, and they did the same thing with Black Widow as well. It's like every couple of days on like the last kind of 2 or 3 week lead up to the movie, we're getting like a new minute of the movie that we haven't seen yet. Another minute here, another minute there, and it's like they're like pretty pivotal moments as well. So it's like you're sitting down watching the movie and you're like, yeah, I've fucking seen this, like, you know, I can run out to the bathroom now if I want, like, you know. So it's just, yeah, I don't know, bro. I think they're too kind of, people are too hungry for content now. And I think that it even travels over into like the music industry now at this stage, because like one of the bands that I love, they've been working on an album for 2 years, and it's like every couple of weeks now they're releasing one song off the album and making a fucking music video. And it's like, where's the fucking album? Like, it has to be finished. Why aren't you releasing it? You're releasing songs, you're making music videos, give us the fucking album. And it's like, I know the album's going to have like 11 tracks on it or something. They've released like 8 of them already. So it's like, when I get that album, I've heard 8 of the tracks. I heard one of them fucking 2 years ago. Like, I'm sick of the song. But it's like, now you're going to release an album, and it's like, I'm to be listening to this for the first time. It's like, fuck off. It's just ridiculous. And this is the world we live in. This is the internet. Everything is available to us at the fucking flick of a thumb, like, and it's just, we're too connected now. It's just, it's ridiculous. There's no suspense anymore. There's nothing.
Like that brings me back to like when the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies came out. You know, I was a kid.
Oh yeah.
I didn't really see any fucking trailers of it. So like when my sister took me to go see Spider-Man, I did not know what the fuck was gonna happen. You know.
Yeah.
And like it sucks that like now like we like you guys said, like we just see so much shit and it just ruins the experience. You know. Yeah. And it sucks. Like, and like I kind of wish that like we weren't in an age where like shit like that exists now, you know, because I loved like going into a theater not knowing what the fuck I'm gonna see, you know. Right. Like I was like jaw dropped the whole time, and now it's just like, oh well, yeah, I seen that in the trailer. Oh, I seen that in the trailer too. Like,
yeah, and it's all these TV, it's all the TV spots and the featurettes and all this shit, like, and the clips that they're doing now. Now it's like Black Widow clip, and it's like a minute and a half of just some random sequence from the movie, and it's like, this isn't a trailer. It's just them sitting in a car talking. They're literally just taking clips and releasing them. It's just, it's getting crazy.
Like here's the first 8 opening minutes of the movie.
Yeah,
like, what? Well, the trailer already shows me scenes from the climax.
That was crazy, bro.
The trailer already shows me scenes from the climax of the movie, and now you're showing me the first 8 minutes of the movie. So, am I paying just to see the middle part, or what am I doing?
The parts that I missed in the trailers?
Yeah.
Like,
right.
Like, I think
it's like when
I was gonna say, sorry, just what made me fall in love with trailers, like when I was younger, was that you only saw trailers when you were in the actual theater. So like, you know, that was the kind of buzz, like, you know, oh, let's get to the movie early, let's find out what's coming out next, what are we going to see next and all. And
that's what I love.
Yeah, and like that's why trailers will always be so fucking special to me, like, you know. But now it's just kind of like they're kind of poisoning it a bit, and then, you know, to go down a different fucking path. But it's like you get trailers for like the first Suicide Squad movie. Like that trailer was the greatest trailer I've ever seen in my life, and the movie was complete dog shit. Like, and it's like now they have like all these like film studios coming out that are all like trailer houses, they call them now, and it's just like these guys coming together and they know exactly what people want to see. Like they're looking at all the analytics and everything, and they know we need to put this and this in, have a banging track with a drop here and all. Like, you know, it's fucking chemistry at this stage. Like they know exactly what to put in to make people interact with it, and it's all become a marketing scheme. Like, I know obviously trailers are obviously marketing to begin with, but at the same time it's kind of lost the magic. You know, you'd always want to kind of just see a little bit, and that was it. Teasers, you know, not like clips and fucking featurettes where they're showing like proper like scenes from the movies and stuff. It's getting all too much.
Trailers used to be mostly voiceover of people talking about the movie to hype you up over it. And now, like you said, now you said, like you said, trailers are just straight up parts of the movie.
Yeah. And I really feel like we're going to see a lot more. It's going to get worse with Shang-Chi. Like, they're going to show us more.
Yeah.
Because I feel like because we got the Spider-Man trailer still waiting out there, that it's going to drop like with the next couple of weeks. And then we got the Eternals one that just came out. Like they're gonna have to turn up the trailers on Shang-Chi to get you like back interested in that because we're still
everyone's talking about Eternals now. That kind of
like,
backfired.
Like
so now way more spoilers of Shang-Chi coming out in the trailers within the next 2 weeks. Like, promise you, like it's gonna happen, man.
Like imagine if we never saw that Abomination was gonna be in the movie. You know,
that would have been
blew
sick.
us the fuck away,
bro.
You know, because it's like, bro, like, because like when everyone saw the trailer, everyone knew like that's fucking Abomination.
Oh yeah,
you know, and like that ruined such a big moment.
Yeah,
that could have just like grabbed everyone in the movie theaters. Like, oh my fuck, like Abomination's back, you know, and like.
But I kind of think at the same time, though, if they're dropping Abomination in the trailer, what are we going to get that hasn't been announced? You know what I mean? I think they will still have some surprises up their sleeves. And if they're letting us know about Abomination, I think that tells us that there could be even something bigger coming. Mm-hmm. So I suppose there's a pros and cons to that. I suppose I agree with what you're saying. Like I would guarantee that I wouldn't have any popcorn left by the time Abomination came, but. If I'd be dropping the empty bag on the floor. I'd be like, jaw on the floor. I'd be like, oh my god, it's Abomination. What the fuck is going on?
Mm-hmm. Like, to be honest though, like, is anyone going to the movie theater to see Abomination? Like, no one is showing up because of Abomination. You anyway.
I'm just
they might have more to show us, but it could have been that much better. Like what Max is saying, like no one is only going to this movie. They're like, oh fuck, Abomination in it. God, I've been waiting goddamn 12 years.
Yeah, where's he?
Edward Norton to go see Abomination.
I mean,
that only person is Alex.
Yeah, unfortunately,
and I'm laughing.
Unfortunately, you got him sitting right in front of you, dude.
God, never mind. I'm wrong. Fuck me.
No, I think
man.
I think you're absolutely right, and I think that like would relate to so many characters, even in the MCU. Like there's so many people that like Jesus, like half the X-Men, I would be like, oh, that's so cool, but I wouldn't really give a shit at the same time. Like, do you know what I mean? It's not like gonna make me cry or anything. Like, you know what I mean? That like this person showed up, like But
I've got one, and that would be if they show Rogue in the Captain Marvel trailer, because then I know they're getting rid of Captain Marvel. I'm like, sign me up. I'm fucking there. Get rid of this fucking ass of a character.
Yeah, for sure.
What if they just show little tidbits of like the Brotherhood X-Men, like you see Frog, just for the hell of it, just or Toad. I think. Sorry, his name's Toad.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like it's just little tidbits, like you see Toad or you see Blob or something like that.
But seeing that in the movie theater, as cool as it is seeing it in the trailer, seeing that in a movie theater for the first time is 10 times better than anything they'll ever show you in a trailer. Like, I'd rather be sitting with some popcorn on my fucking chest, like laid back in a recliner, than sitting in my dumb computer chair watching it on a 24-inch monitor the first time I see Abomination or Toad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I want these big reveals in the theater. Like, I'm a cinema goer. I love the cinema.
Yes.
Like, give me these moments while I'm in there. Like getting mad at somebody next to me looking at their phone. Like that's the moment I want.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. No, I agree. I agree 100%. Like my girlfriend just told me, she's like, I don't know if the theaters are going to open, but if they do, we need to go see a movie. Like it could have been anything. Like, now like we're going to go see Free Guy.
I'm going to see it tomorrow.
But I haven't watched
it Sunday.
I'm so happy.
I haven't watched Green Knight yet, and everybody's hyping it up. So I'm like, I got to go see that too now.
For me, one of the hardest things for me, and it might sound sad, but one of the hardest things for me during the lockdown was that I couldn't go to the cinema. Like, it's one of the best thing. Like, it's one of my favorite things to do with my lady. Like, we'll go to a late night show of a film. We'll grab some dinner first. Like, it's a proper date night, And like, I miss that so much. And like the second, now they tried to open the cinemas here between like 2 lockdowns, and I wasn't really comfortable going back then. It was around the time Tenet came out. And like, good movie. Wish I saw it in the cinema, but wasn't too heartbroken. Watched it at home. But I was like, no matter what, like I said, if there was sick people like in the cinema with me, like I was like, there's no way I'm missing a Marvel movie in the cinema. Like I'll sit through COVID for it, like So, I'm happy they're open now. Like for me, like it was as soon as I could, I was back, like for sure. Like I love the cinema.
Yeah.
I'm Disney's best friend, bro, because like I'm going to see the fucking movie, and then I'm gonna buy it on, like, if it's a Marvel movie, I'm gonna buy it on Disney as well. Like they're getting multiple watches out of me, like for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%. So there's so many people that are like gonna just like, and you know, there's like it's a double-edged sword, like because you've got people that won't pay for anything, cheapskates. We all know them, like you know, they'll download hacked versions of games, they'll download movies for free, they'll download music for free. They won't pay for anything, and there's fucking hundreds of millions of them in the world, like, and they're really hurting Hollywood right now. But you know, it is what it is, like you know, like they're fucking people are like, I think it was Free Guy last weekend, like did something like 65 million or 85 million in the box office, and they were like, this is the greatest thing ever. And it's like fucking Black Widow does 65 million and it's a fucking failure, it's a disgrace. Like, so I'm like, you know, I don't know, it's Hollywood is just all over the place right now.
They just set such a high bar for Marvel movies, and like, and that's the thing is, like you said it before, Finto, even the most horrible Marvel movie is still a good movie.
Oh yeah 100%.
They can call it horrible all they want, and then but like
Far From
it'll
Home,
still look like a success.
Far From Home, like I'll never say shit about Spider-Man, like great movie, but like kind of mid-tier for MCU, if not like below mid-tier. That movie is, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but that movie I think is the highest grossing movie on Sony's roster ever, and that's like mid-tier MCU. That's like the most money that Sony have ever made in the cinema. It was like 1.2 in the domestic box office or something like that, 1.2 billion, and it was the highest movie they've ever done.
A lot of it has to do with like how much the movie like took to get made budget wise, and I think Black Widow probably cost more than Free Guy. But also like the people who are critics of that, they got their own agendas,
of course,
and what they're trying to, you know, get people, the type of audience they're trying to attract.
Yeah.
And I always go back to this thing where I've had this since I was in my teenage years, where I found it so weird how like so many people obsess over the box office numbers, and to me I'm like, bros, like we're not in the boardroom.
Yeah.
Like this.
Yeah.
Like,
why do we care?
These guys. Yeah. Like. Is it a good movie? Like I don't care what Black Widow made at the box office. Like it was an alright movie. Like, you know, who cares how much money it made? You guys brought up a good point before. Like, well, you're interested because of what might be made because of it, right?
Yeah,
like
true.
in future movies.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, for me, I'm still like I don't like fuck them. Like,
yeah, it doesn't
if
really.
I'm not on the board, I don't care what this shit makes.
Yeah, like I'll never judge a movie on a box office, and I think that's what a lot of people do, and I think that's where it's wrong. You know, like if there's a movie like fucking Jesus, I don't know, even Black Widow. Like Black Widow is a good movie. It did bad in the box office for a number of reasons out of control of the actual movie itself, but that's not a judge. Like I'm not gonna look at the box office numbers and go fuck that, I'm not gonna watch that movie because it's obviously shit because it didn't sell in the box office. And I think that's where people are getting mixed up. I love like the whole business side of Hollywood. Like I love to see, you know, it's like budget was 300 million, they made that money back in 3 hours. I'm like, that blows my mind. Like it's insane, like, you know. And then you go down the road of like the global box office, which is even more, and then you've got like the digital releases and the Blu-ray copies and DVDs and all this sort of shit. And it's like, you know, they talk about a movie like Batman versus Superman that they say was a fucking like failure, but it's like the movie has made so much fucking money for Warner Brothers that even if it's a failure in the box office, it is still a fucking financial success. So
Sure,
you can't be judging movies on that sort of shit. Like,
have you guys ever watched the Kevin Smith film Red State?
No.
I live by that movie so much because like their budget was 4 million, their box office was 1.8 million, but I have to say, man, that movie is so good because of how many left turns it takes.
Yeah.
And it's literally what Kevin Smith said in his commentary. He said that he wanted to make sure that every time you think something was going to occur, it would completely turn the other way, and you would be turned the other way and be like, what the hell is going on? And like for his ending, like he was going to do something even crazier, but he realized like he had to kind of end it at a good point.
Yeah.
Otherwise he would have gone super crazy.
Yeah.
But I love that movie. Like it's really good. If I were to tell you just the premise of it, you would not know anything afterwards. You would be like, wait, what did I just come into? I highly recommend that movie.
Like I'm trying
Red State.
Yeah,
I'm trying to sell it right now because it's one of my favorites.
You've made the sale, stop selling.
That's
one of my favorite things to say, dude. I love that. Like, you've made the sale, stop selling.
is on the topic of Kevin Smith. I didn't know that Kevin Smith was going to be the writer and director of the Superman movie that was supposed to star Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's a legend, bro. Like, he's been a writer for DC Comics for years. He wrote, like, Green Arrow for years. He's done, like, so much, like, behind the camera for DC as well. And I think, is there not a Marvel project coming up? The Wolfman one or whatever it's called. What's it called?
God, I almost said The Wolf Among Us.
Whatever it's called. I can't think of the name of the project right now, but I think it's Kevin Smith. I think Kevin Smith's doing that. So,
wow.
yeah, like, he's in there, dude. Like, you know what I mean?
A
lot of people say Ben Affleck is Batman because of Kevin Smith, like, you know, so, yeah. He's connected everywhere.
He just did the new He-Man series.
He did. I think, wasn't it a failure, as far as I know? Like, there was a lot of controversy about it.
Everybody said it was, like, too woke type stuff.
I don't know if it was a failure, though. Netflix doesn't really release their numbers, I guess, you know?
True.
Yeah.
It just seems like the season 2 hasn't started or whatever.
It wouldn't be
There's like a He-Man show, and He-Man was only in, like, the first episode.
Yeah, it wouldn't be something that I would sit down and watch, but, you know, I'll obviously kind of cast my eye over anything that mentions Kevin Smith, and, like, anything that I saw was negative about it. So, you know.
Yeah.
Just as a quick tip, Finto, it's called Werewolf by Night.
Werewolf by Night, yes, that's the one. And it is Kevin Smith, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's an upcoming Disney Plus series, am I right? Or is it a movie? I can't even remember.
You know what? I don't know. I mean,
it's MCU anyway, 100%.
Yeah.
So.
I would say it's a Disney Plus show. I don't think Disney would give Kevin Smith the reins to anything.
Are you mental? There's no way.
Sure, he isn't like.
He says it himself, you know. He goes to studios looking for like $4 million for budgets for movies, and they're like, "Get out of here, you stoner!" Like, you know. So it's like there's no way he's getting like a $200 million budget from Kevin Feige to make a fucking movie.
So right now, I was just scrolling through Instagram and I saw that IGN posted that Ironheart's gonna have her debut in Black Panther 2.
I was gonna talk about that when we were going through our other news segments. Yeah. So that's confirmed. Yeah, she's gonna be Riri Williams for Black Panther 2. Yeah. Hell yeah, bro. Like, she's getting her own show. We know she's coming, so, you know, why not? I think this is the way they need to do it. Like, you know, I think it's the best way to do it is to bring somebody in as, like, a supporting cast member in a big blockbuster movie, and then it's like, oh, you like this little 10 minutes of this character? She's got her own show over on Disney. Tune in, like, subscribe.
We're gonna get the Young Avengers sooner than we think. Like they're building it up so quick.
Yeah,
it's gotta be fast.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
I'm wondering though, like, how, like, are they gonna do a Nathaniel Richards, or are they gonna try to like make a different leader?
Like, I don't know. There's so many options. I think they would have no. You know, I think they're gonna make Ms. Marvel the leader. To be honest with you, with her being like the first real show out of the gate for the young people.
Kate Bishop, yeah.
I think that, like, they're really gonna push her as like a main person.
Oh, and I think I heard something about the possibility of Amadeus Cho coming in as Hulk, which would be so fantastic.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Hulk. Is that like a different, like, person who takes the mantle other than Bruce Banner?
Yes.
Oh wow.
And I believe he's a bit more cockier.
Oh wow.
So it would fit well if they were going to try to do like another like cocky type Avengers series.
Yeah, for sure. I really think that it's going down the road of, like, you know, the multiverse cracking open. I think a lot of what we're talking about here with What If and stuff, I think that a lot of this is going to be coming into live action, and it's going to be very important. And I think, you know, we're getting to see in What If, we're going to see a different Avengers team, and I think, you know, that's going to definitely trickle into movies and stuff like that, like, going forward. 100%.
You know, getting further down the line though, like I've begun to realize, like, although we do rate some of these episodes, like considering Loki or What If, like we rate them not as high as like maybe others would see it. Like, you know, others would give it like a 9 or a 10. Although it's not like spectacular.
Yeah.
I do have to admit, I admire the fact that like they're starting to actually push forward into the timelines or into like a multiverse or actually doing something different outside of the, like, starting to further get outside of the box, as opposed to constantly rebooting. Like I was getting tired of it. and we're finally getting somewhere.
Yeah,
it's wonderful, even if it's not perfect, even if it's not like grand. We have stories to talk about now. It's not just a reboot.
Oh, dude, like the possibilities going forward now are just endless. Like, you know, I think I mentioned before, like, you know, now we can do like Civil War 2 and you can have it proper. Like, you can do it with everyone. You can do it with the Punisher. You can bring Fantastic Four, X-Men, everybody in. Like, you know, you do an X-Men versus Avengers movie. Like, there's just, it's fucking endless. Like, you know, it's incredible.
You know, it would be really cool though, is like to see Ghost Rider and the Punisher in the same room, and Ghost Rider trying to like make Punisher repent, even though he has no remorse for whatever he did.
Midnight Suns, that's where you're going to see that happen. I guarantee it. That's coming,
it's
bro.
Gonna be so
Midnight
good.
Suns on Disney Plus is going to have that for sure, and you're going to have Wanda in there in the mix as well. Like, it's just, it's insane. It's insane what's coming. Like, I think they've got 15 years of content with the current MCU, and then, you know, in 15 years time, fucking just start again. Again. You have the properties, you can go back, you can tell the original stories with new cast members, but now you can do it properly. You can do Civil War 1, but you can do it like page for page from the comic books. You know what I mean? You can do like fucking Death of Steve Rogers, all this sort of shit. Like, I think, you know, is there still going to be, I think in 15 years, yeah, we're probably still going to have as much of a want for comic book stuff, maybe more, maybe less, I don't know, but I think in 15, 20 years time, I think you do a full-blown reboot of everything, and you just do it right this time. Like, could you imagine how good the first X-Men movie would be if you were allowed to have Spider-Man in there, and, you know, like, if you had Iron Man show up and all earlier and stuff? It would have been just fucking wild. Absolutely wild.
Spider-Man joins practically every team, doesn't he?
Yeah, like I've seen content of him with the Fantastic Four. I've seen him with the X-Men. I've seen him with Avengers. He's there with everybody.
All I want is the bombastic Bagman. That's all I want. I fucking just can't wait to see that come to life.
Yeah, you just know they're gonna do everything. I think everyone is becoming like a real kind of sweaty with it, like with all the content and stuff like that. So I think now they're able to push the border out so much further and just get so creative and so crazy with it. Whereas, like, if you were trying to do shit like What If, like 15 years ago, they'd be like, what are you talking about? Get out of here. Like, you know, what are you doing? You know, this is crazy. There's like multiverse. No, fuck that. Like, you know, whereas
yeah,
now,
we go by the book.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, it's like, let's tell an origin story again for the 5th time. Like, you know, because that's all people are wanting to see. Like, you know, like, people want to see Uncle Ben die all the time. People want to see Thomas and Martha Wayne get shot all the time. Like, you know, and now it's like multiverse. Now it's like fucking 3 different Batmans in one movie and 4 different Flashes, and, you know, you've got a multiverse of Spider-Man and all this sort of shit. Like, it's just, I think everyone now is just so open to the idea of just the crazy, and it just works, that we're just gonna get so much fantastic content because of it. Like, it makes me giddy.
The past really feels like when me and Drunky were playing 12 minutes. We're just trying to get out the house. We're just trying to finish everything and get and move forward. And it just keeps resetting.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, for sure. Guys, I gotta use the bathroom real quick. Usually I can hold it till the end, but I apologize. BRB, 1 sec.
He's throbbing.
Well, oh, man.
God, now what do we talk about? Pinto kind of like let us into the topic. I want to start anything new without him here.
Let's talk about Spider-Man while he's gone. Hurry up.
Yeah, we're still on we could still be on the topic of Spider-Man.
Spider-Man will be the worst movie we've seen in the MCU. I just don't want to break his heart. It's gonna be terrible. Yeah. It's gonna be terrible.
Hey!
He's gonna come and ruin it again.
No.
Why can't we get a good dude? You have not seen a good Spider-Man in the MCU. You've seen 2 mediocre Spider-Man, and we're all just okay with it because he's in the MCU. If these were released by Sony on their own, we would fucking hate them. Okay.
Oh,
I personally think, like, so far the best portrayal of Spider-Man in the MCU is when we saw him in Civil War. Like,
in Civil War, yes, he felt young. He felt like he was witty. And bouncing off characters were so good.
I loved that whole airport scene. That scene is what makes, like, Civil War like one of my top 3 favorite MCU movies.
Yeah.
Just because, like, the entrance of Spider-Man coming in, and, like, when he fucking fought Winter Soldier, he's like, you have a metal arm? Like, how awesome, you know? And it's just like, dude, like, and it's just like, man, like his entrance was fucking epic, and then he just, like, came in, was just, like, sweeping the floor with everyone, you know?
Yeah.
He's like, like the whole scene with Ant-Man. He's like, oh yeah, have you ever seen that movie Star Wars, like the big AT-ATs? And he's like, let me just like do this real quick, you know, and boom, fucking fucks up Ant-Man, trips him. I'm just like, dude, he's just like, and he's like able to go toe to toe with Steve Rogers, like nothing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, dude, like, yes, like, and I agree with you. Like, his solo movies were kind of meh. They were good, but they could have been better. And I think the best portrayal of Spidey, like Peter Parker, was in Civil War, for sure.
Mm-hmm. You know what I think they need to tackle in the MCU to make a Spider-Man movie work, and they're never going to be able to do this, is they need to start a Spider-Man movie off where it just kind of feels like he's just hanging out in New York. Like he's just there. There's not this huge, big, epic thing he's got to go tackle. Like he starts out and he's just hanging out. Like he just pizza place. He's swinging around, hangs upside down, eats it real quick, and then has to go do something. Like they need something low key for him. They need to bring him back down to like just helping people out and act like he's part of the city.
Right.
Good.
Yeah. I started to think more about, like, as we're talking about Spider-Man, and now that I think about the 90s episodes, it kind of reminds me of how the What If episodes are kind of following the same kind of like pace as the 90s episodes. Because if you really go back and you see the stuff, like I've watched a couple like old Hulk episodes, they kind of go pretty quick. They kind of move it forward as fast as they can because they do have a lot of story to cover. But like, it's just this weird setting of like, it's a nice homage, but like at the same time, like I think they could elongate it a little bit more. Just a little bit.
For sure.
I think we should talk about the Eternals trailer now.
Oh yeah. Yes. The only thing we need to say is Rob Stark is Superman. Like that's it.
So good, man.
It looks so good. I'm seeing so many funny memes of like, it looks like Zack Snyder and all this stuff, like, which it kind of does, I suppose, but it's like there's definitely like, elements there, like, and I think like just how they've kind of animated the creatures and stuff, and like, the clear like, visuals with the lasers and all that sort of thing, like it's very kind of DC-ish, which is I am sold on. I love it, like absolutely love it. Like I was blown away by that trailer. More like we're seeing a few more bits of comedy in it, and I think it's great. Like the bit at the end with the smashing of the table. He's like, "You got this place kitted out. This is definitely like vibranium or whatever." It's just like IKEA. It's
fall collection.
Yeah, fall collection, IKEA, and you're just like, "This is gonna be brilliant." Like you just know it's gonna be a trip. Like it's gonna be great. I'm all for it. Like, give it to me.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I'm excited because we get to finally see like the Celestials and all them. Like, it's gonna be crazy. Yeah. Like, it's gonna open up so much more like doors,
for sure,
to what can happen in the MCU.
Galactus showing up too.
Oh man, it's coming. It's gonna come eventually.
I mean, they showed it in the trailer, right? They're like, "Why didn't you interfere?" Because
that was a Celestial.
Yeah, that's what it's Celestial.
Oh, that was I thought that was Galactus.
Similar to Galactus in ways, right?
But you never know. Like, we could see like the introduction of like Galactus.
Haven't they teased him at some point? Didn't they tease him already at one point?
I don't know if they have.
I might be false memorying.
I don't think they have. Not in the MCU.
I think they're gonna give Kang his big like showcase of him being the big bad, and then after that, I can guarantee that like Galactus is probably gonna be the next big bad.
Well, they've confirmed Kang's got 6 years of story in the MCU.
6 years.
I'm happy with that.
Same. I think plugging off the whole variant stuff. I think it's gonna be we might even see Nathaniel Richards and everything. Like I think we're gonna get a couple of different variants.
Yeah,
they're gonna go hard
around, like you said, like in different variants. But I don't think he's gonna be like a Thanos level. Everyone's acting like, dude, he's like the next big bad, and like I do think he's gonna be like, like he's like has cool parts. Like he's
in the comics, he wasn't even that prevalent.
He killed Thanos in the comics at one point.
Yeah, but he was in like 17 copies ever that he just like weaves in and out, and he's mainly showing up to interact with Thanos' brother Eros, almost like 80% of the time he showed up too.
Yeah.
Or Adam Richards was there, which is funny. Is like whenever like it's funny whenever like Kang would show up, you'd also always get like one slide of like Adam Richards poking his head out, like "What's up?" Or Adam Warlock, not Adam Richards, Adam Warlock. You'd be like, "Hey, what's up? What's happening here?"
Yeah. Warlock's definitely coming as well.
That Eternal trailer got me fucking excited though, and like I think it's because it's the first time they really showed action in it.
Yeah,
like I'm excited for this movie like I've never been. I always am like this movie's gonna be a stinker. Like I don't know how they do the Eternals, but the action sequences looked huge. They looked, all the effects looked amazing.
Yeah.
You brought up him looking like Superman. I thought he looked better, dude.
Yeah.
They always had this like Cyclops looking Superman where it's like his laser beams were like 3 times the size of his fucking face. You can't see anything. So seeing these like really skinny laser beams coming out, like it just felt so well, and it felt like they capture stuff. And man, do you not think like the calamity or whatever, like the thing that comes down, they show it hit the ocean?
Oh, the emergence.
Yeah.
The emergence. Does it not feel like that's going to sink Atlantis, and that's how Namor comes?
Yeah.
Does that not?
That's going to be amazing.
Well, like Namor's been confirmed for Black Panther 2, right? As far as I know. So yeah, like that's not that far away. So 100%, yeah. Like this movie is gonna create waves. Excuse the pun.
I'm just hoping with this whole like celestial stuff and like us like kind of branching more into like the universe and the galaxy and all that stuff that we finally get to see like at the end, like an end credit scene, and it's like fucking like Silver Surfer coming down and like warning everyone like, oh, like a bigger threat's coming, like you guys need to get your shit together.
Yeah.
Like I'm here to warn you guys like that, like what you guys thought was bad is gonna get worse if you guys let this guy come, and then boom, like it's gonna be like, oh, like are they building up to like Galactus? I think like that's what I'm hoping for.
I think Galactus would be like the last fight of the MCU. I think like after they beat Galactus, like I think this version of the MCU that we have, I think is done. I think that's the part like where like that should be the finisher. And then you reboot then after that. Like I think like could you imagine like you've got the next phase, you got X-Men, Fantastic Four, everyone fully established, and then it's like the big massive fight for the universe, and then once they win that, it's like okay, time to reboot or whatever, because like it's where do you go from there? I think that is the actual end game.
I think a lot of this has to like it. I really don't think we need too many big baddies. Like if we have Galactus, great. If we have Kang go through, great. I really think that we should have just a lot of like infighting, much like with Battle World, with Secret Wars, Secret Invasion, stuff like that. Like all these infightings are the big bads. You know what I mean? Like it should no longer be like there's a one entity that you have to worry about this entire time. It should just be like, no, like there's this whole chaos going, and we need to solve it, and then we solve it, and then we're good.
Yeah.
And then it just changes the course of everything. 100%. So, and then, but if we like, let's say if we had to put a new big baddie, I think we should grow one of the villains and make them become larger and larger and larger, much like Doom, much like Magneto when he gets like crazy powerful, or like when we see Apocalypse again, you never know. Like we could take some of the smaller ones that, yes, they do invade, and yes, they cause a lot of issues. Like we could see these smaller ones just kind of slowly growing over time and becoming a big bad.
Hey, I hate to cut you off really quick. I got to dip out early. I passed like 10-15 minutes. I haven't been feeling great. I got to get some like food or something.
So, no problem, dude. Yeah,
I'm going to be dipping out a little bit early on this one.
No problem, dude. Thank you for being here.
It was marvelous. I appreciate it. I look forward to next week. I look forward to Titans. Titans.
I won't be here next week, guys.
You're not going to be here next week? Or are you doing Talking Titans before you go?
I might be able to do episode 4 with you. Well, it'll have to be. Yeah, I'll talk to you. About
it. Just let me know. But
no podcast.
Are we doing?
Unless
no podcast? Okay.
You can do a podcast without me if you want. I don't mind. If someone else wants to host it for a week, and Drunky can upload it, he has access to the YouTube. So if you do want to host one next Friday, I would have no problem with that at all. Like
I would say, I would kind of put that call on Drunky. Drunky, your schedule usually ends right then. So like, if you would, kind of up to you if you want to either swap over from your stream to if you'd want to host it, or
I have no objection.
I don't know. I think we can talk about it like offline and like figure out who's going to be able to be here. Like if Alex can come, I know he's got stuff going on.
Yeah.
Well, I may have to fly out sooner. So like, we'll see.
Yeah, because I think
if it's only like 2 of us, like it's like kind of
Yeah, true. It might just be an off week. That's understandable.
Yeah, I think it might. I think it might be an off week, and then if I have the dates right, let me just double check this to be sure. So yeah, if I'm not here next Friday, the Friday after is actually like the release weekend of Shang-Chi. So, I think if we take a week off, like Alex isn't going to be here, I'm not going to be here. I think it's a nice kind of break, and then when we come back, we have like
Plenty to talk about.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
we got plenty. We'll have 2 episodes of What If. We'll have potentially some Shang-Chi. Like I don't know. We'll definitely be ramping up to the kind of previews because I think after that podcast we'll probably all be seeing it the next day or something like that. So for sure it'll be a kind of build up to Shang-Chi for sure. Yeah.
Well, I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. It was a marvelous chat. I appreciate you.
It always
Adios,
is,
brother.
Kyle.
Appreciate
It
you
always
too,
is,
buddy.
Kyle. Later, dude.
Later, Cal.
I was like, I don't know if you guys, what were we talking about there? I completely forgot.
Eternals, introductions of like next big bads. I'm guessing like we're with like thinking the direction of the MCU could go.
Yeah, yeah. I think like what you're kind of saying, Alex, I think is definitely feasible. Like I think you start doing like crossover movies, like you'll do like Spider-Man and Daredevil or Spider-Man and
The Fantastic Four.
yeah, something like that. Like, but it's not these like fucking crazy Endgame movies where it's just like I think what they're going to be doing with Kang, like I think you're right. Like I don't think Kang is the next Thanos. Like I think his power level is there, but that's a different story. I think like from a kind of real world perspective, like I think he's gonna obviously cross into a couple of movies. Ant-Man, Doctor Strange will be aware of him, Loki obviously, so that might bring in Thor and blah blah blah, and like maybe you might have like 4 or 5 movies crossing into this big event and that they take care of it, but then you have like Sam Wilson and all these people still back on Earth and they're doing their own like kind of 4 or 5 minute like kind of event. So I think that's and it's going to be what the comic books are like, like they do like these crossover events all the time in the comics where there'll be a 6-part series where Captain America shows up and he's in Spider-Man comics for 6 weeks, and then Spider-Man goes off and he's in the X-Men for 6 weeks, and I think that's just what they're going to be doing in the movies and on Disney Plus and stuff. I think that's kind of where it's going to be, and then I think Galactus is probably the one that brings the entire universe together, but that's probably 12 years away.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy to think.
Kevin Feige like came out saying like they'd have. Even though like parts of the new saga have started, they're really not going to start turning the gears on it for a little bit because they want to give it in-game some breathing room. Like they need room between both of the sagas. So if we get like another 2 or 3 years of us doing that, then they really start kicking up the next bit of the saga, and it takes us another 10 years to get there. I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah, I actually heard this week as well. The guy who wrote Secret Wars, his name is Jim Shooter. He confirmed that Marvel have bought those rights for that story from him. So it looks like, it sounds like what's going to be happening is, because it's been kind of heavily rumored for a while now that that's going to be the Russo brothers' return is going to be for Secret Wars, and it looks like they've just bought the rights to that story now. So it looks like that's what they're ramping up for. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's where you might get someone like Chris Evans back, because I know there's talks of him re-signing on for something like 1 or 2 appearances. Would not be surprised if it's Secret Wars brings him back, like with the Russos and stuff. It would just make a lot of sense.
Can you just imagine, because of like the multiverse, the entire like the entire story behind Secret Wars is that the Watchers take all of these different sections of the multiverse, like that are like supposed to be the best terrain possible, and then they pull each of the best of the best of like each of the multiverse and put them in, and they just have this like just this big out war. Like they pick teams and then they pit them against each other.
Yeah, I'm
That's
all for it.
Insane.
Give it to me.
Yeah,
I want
and
it.
then like even though we have Venom with Sony right now, they could still implement it into the Marvel universe if Sony allows it to still have Spider-Man have the black suit during the time.
Yeah, I don't know how they do that.
You don't want them to?
No, I don't think they can with Tom Hardy, right? Can they? They can't.
I don't know about that, but like I just, in the same way that you didn't want them to bring in like Andrew Garfield to the MCU, It's like I want them to have Venom be brought in their way and done right, because these movies just is fucking terrible.
So
yeah, no, I can agree with that.
Speaking about Venom, a UK and Ireland cinema chain, they're called Vue, VUE, it's spelled.
Okay.
This chain of cinemas put up on their website a kind of pre-book for Venom 2, and like kind of had like a brief description of what the movie was about and so on. And then on their website, like they go into like a lot of detail, but they start like listing off cast members, and they fucking put JJ, like J. Jonah Jameson. They put the actor in there, so they basically spoiled that he's going to be in that movie. So he's crossing over. He's just appeared in Spider-Man, and he's confirmed for Venom 2 as well. So it's like, it's ridiculous. Like it's all like, it just kind of opens the door again. Like it's like, where's what's going on in the multiverse? Like, it's insane.
I kind of like old man Jameson in the end of Far From Home.
I thought it was brilliant. That was brilliant.
Like, it's a podcast and he just looks old.
I screamed in the cinema when I saw it. I was just like, yes! I could not believe it. Like, I loved it so much. Like, he's a fantastic actor, and he is. I don't see anybody as JJ. Like, I can't.
His voice is just so good for that.
Yeah, I can't see anybody play that character, and I wouldn't even care if it didn't make any sense whatsoever. Like, even if they had plot holes everywhere, just to have him in there, like, I'm just like, yeah, whatever. It is JJ, like, and he's the only one that can do it, for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of excited for, like, I've seen Venom, the first one, once. I've seen that movie once, and I probably won't watch it again, but I will still go see Venom 2. Right. I will, and I just think what's kind of getting me to the cinema to see it more now is the fact that now we kind of know that there is connective tissue into the MCU, and it's all gonna become one picture at the end of the day. So I think now more so than ever you need to see it. But yeah, I'm like, I'm not sold on it, as you guys know. I'm not sold.
Cosmetics wise, I'm just really glad that they made Cletus have like normal, like just the straight hair rather than this like really crazy curly hair, because curly hair on oh my god, I forgot the actor's name.
Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, curly hair on Woody Harrelson looks really creepy.
Yeah, dude.
Looks really creepy.
I think it made him look like I thought it made him look pretty cool. Like, it made him look like an absolute psycho. Like, and I thought it worked. Like, it was just kind of out there. Like, but yeah, like,
maybe they should have kept it then.
I like what they did. Like, because they say that Carnage, like, syncs with him on a molecular level. Like, so it's like, I love how they've done that in or it's on like a biological level or whatever. Like, how they've done that in the movie. Like, it's spot on, to be fair. And like, Andy Serkis looks like he's made a good movie. Like, to be fair to him, like, did you see as well? Just kind of speaking about that Sonyverse. I heard Michael Keaton did an interview this week, and basically in the interview just kind of said the Marvel like multiverse confuses the shit out of me because like he went and shot something for the Morbius movie, and then they pulled it with the whole Sony Marvel deal, but like now it's back in, and Toby's spray painted on walls in that movie and stuff, and now JJ's in both the MCU and in the Sonyverse, and it is all over the place. Like, and I just think like there's so much happening on the internet with regards to like rumors and theories and all this sort of thing, but like stuff that people are probably getting right, and there's probably stuff that some people have spoiled, like they probably put it out there as rumors, but it's actually official spoilers. And I just think the fan base are just going wild with it, but like it's gotten to a stage where like they really need to give us answers now, because it's getting crazy. Like I don't know how these movies are connecting, but apparently they are. Like, it's very, very realistic that we're gonna get like Jared Leto in the MCU as Morbius, and Kraven the Hunter like coming in to kill him, and Punisher and Blade, and it's just nuts. It's crazy. Like, there's just so much going on. It's mind blowing.
Yeah. And I like, although like we're, a good handful of us are like, oh man, I really wish they would go in this direction or that direction. Like I said, I'm still kind of happy that they're going in some direction. Just putting something out there, giving us something new.
Oh, we're completely spoiled, like 100%.
Yeah.
So spoiled, like
Yeah.
To think that the cartoons that we all watched growing up as kids are now coming to the big screen. Like, could you imagine being like 12 now and like having everything that's coming out now being like your gospel, what you're going to the cinema to see? Like imagine watching Endgame at like being 12 years old. Like I don't know, my mind would be gone.
Yeah,
gone.
And can you imagine if they did like a horror film or even like a short for like Spider-Man, with his abilities just getting way too out of touch, and like he's starting to grow arms and everything? That would be horrifying. But
they had that developed for What If, and Disney pulled it. They're like, this is just too scary. Like, we can't put this out. Like, but if you go onto Google, I think, and if you search up Doctor Strange 2, it's actually labeled as a horror movie. It's going to be a horror film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like Sam Raimi is like labeling that as a horror movie. It's going to be the first kind of horror movie of the MCU.
Now I'm not too.
Clint in my chat. Sorry, just to interrupt. Nobody told me Vin Diesel was Groot.
That's great.
Yeah. Well, he only has 3 lines. He only has 3 lines. Or 3 words, not even 3 lines. 3 words. That's amazing. Sorry, Alex, what were you saying?
No, I was gonna say I'm not well versed on Shuma Gorath, but if he shows up, that'd be pretty cool. I played him a lot on Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Yeah, I don't really know much about Shuma Gorath either. Like,
yeah, it's just a cosmic entity.
Yeah. Was that like Captain Carter, the first episode? Was that Shuma Gorath? Was that meant to be Shuma Gorath that was coming out of that pulled her through to the 616 or whatever? What was that, sorry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a rumor. Like,
yeah. That's what, I don't know if they confirmed it yet.
That's what New Rockstars was saying, that there could be a theory that might have been Shuma Gorath.
Yeah.
He was the same color.
Yeah. Like, I don't believe anything from the Disney Plus shows until it actually shows up on the MCU films. So like once they confirm, I'm like, okay, that's it. But,
yeah.
I feel like sometimes a lot of these Disney Plus shows, they feel like they're getting away with stuff, and like no, they're the kids in the back of the class, and like no one's checking in on, so they could just be doing whatever they want. And then like Kevin Feige is like, he like looks back, he's like, oh shit, what did they do? Oh no, that's not real. That is not it. That's not it.
Retcon, baby.
I really believe that about Disney Plus, man. Like, it just, I don't think they got hands on there like they do other films.
True. I did hear that Feige like retconned the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show, but now there's talks of like Coulson coming back for Secret Invasion, and now as well one of the characters from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the British girl Gemma, I can't remember her surname. Apparently now she's rumored to be appearing in Secret Invasion as well. So it's like, is it retconned or not? Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, yeah, it's all.
I ain't watching until it's canon.
Yeah, but like that's the thing. Like, a lot of people are in that same boat. Like, there's just so much content now that it's like, I'm not gonna watch stuff that isn't canon because there's just so much stuff to watch that like that like Morag show or whatever it's called, that Hulu one. It's like, it's not canon.
Oh, MODOK?
Or MODOK, sorry, yeah. It's like it's not canon. So I'm like, I'm not gonna watch it. Like,
That's how much you don't care about it, Vinto.
Exactly. I'm just like, look, that's just so much fucking stuff to watch between movies and shows, and apparently, Marvel are gearing up to like be releasing 11 projects every year going forward for the next 5 years. So that's pretty much something every month for the next like 4 or 5 years, with whether it's a TV show or a movie. Like, that is fucking insane.
We'll see if the viewership holds up, man. Because I feel like people are already getting a little worn out, and I think that's why Suicide Squad didn't do as well as the box office. I know HBO kind of dumpstered it, but I feel like there's a little bit of superhero wariness going on, a little fatigue.
Yeah, I agree. I think like they've definitely got a core fan base that will like all of us, like, will never budge on it. Like, I'll be watching these movies when I'm 70, like, I can guarantee you that. Like, but it's like, can you keep the normies going to the cinema like in 10 years time? Can you keep the Disney Plus subscriptions topped up? Like, I don't know. Like,
I would say that once, like, at the point where we all say that things are getting milked is when it's starting to really wane down.
Oh, if we say that, then it's
if we say that.
If we say that, it's 5 years too late. You know what I mean? For sure, dude. Like, you know, if I'm telling you, like, oh my god, the MCU is just like it's too much now. It's milked. It's like I'm sick of it. Like, you know, that's when it's truly fucking dead. Because you know, I'll watch it till the end. You know, I think I watched 4 seasons of Agents of Shield. That'll tell you how committed I am to it. Like, you know, that show was ass. Like, but I watched like 4 seasons of it.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Was Coulson a clone or was he just revived?
He was revived with Kree blood, and then that kind of fucked his brain up for a few seasons. But then they did a whole where I bailed on the show was they did a whole like kind of. I think it was the end of season 3. They were all sitting in like a cafe, and then they got like sucked up into space and teleported to the future. And then they wake up, and it's like they're on like a Kree ship. So it's kind of like Star Trek or whatever, but they're on a Kree ship, kind of 200, 300 years in the future. And I'm like, this is not relevant anymore to the movies. Like, the reason why I watched the show was because I liked how it crossed into the movies. Like, I'll never forget watching like the season 2 finale of that show, and Coulson's last line in the show is like, we better call the Avengers, and then Ultron starts, and I'm just like, whoa. So like their mission for that season was to find where Loki's scepter was. They track it all the way to fucking Eastern Europe, wherever it was, and then Avengers 2 started. Like, and I'm like, this is fucking epic. Like, you know, this is like crossovers that you want to see between TV and cinema. Like, and then they went just way overboard with that show, and I'm just like, okay, I'm done. Like, and I think I understand maybe why they brought the Krees in, because obviously with Guardians of the Galaxy then coming out, and Ronan, and then like obviously Captain Marvel, then obviously people needed to know who the Kree were, but they just didn't do it right. Like, you know, it just got too crazy.
It was just weird.
Yeah, it just got weird. It got too weird for me. Like, you know, it's like we're 300 years in the future now. Like, what is happening? And it's like, how do they get back? They must have got back somehow. I stopped watching, but they must have got back to the present time somehow. I must Google it or something. But they obviously did, because if they're talking about bringing Coulson back, he's obviously got to be alive and in the current time somewhere. Or multiverse. Easy cop-out, multiverse.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The wonders of writing with the multiverse. It's all gets so easy now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's almost reaching points of like time travel. Like, we could sit here all day and just talk about it.
Yeah, like, well, like obviously, you know, Endgame, we touched time travel, but not really. Yeah, like, do they do it again? Maybe not for a while, but I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I would never put time travel off the table. But I think, yeah, like it's variants for the next couple of years anyway. And then the scrolls, so the shapeshifters and shit as well. Like, we're gonna have time travel, variants, and shapeshifters all within the same couple of years. It's gonna be really confusing for people, I'd say.
Yeah.
It makes me worried about She-Hulk a little bit.
Yeah,
just because of like all the stuff going on.
Yeah, I don't know. I think people are sleeping on Hawkeye a bit. I think that show's going to be really important and really good. I think it's going to be the first like Disney Plus show that we all sit back and go, wow, that was amazing, and wow, that connects into what's coming next. I think like what we've seen so far, Wanda's in her own little pocket where, like, you know, it was cool, but it doesn't really matter. Same with Loki. It was cool, but it really doesn't matter right now. Like, you know, I think Loki did shoot scenes for Doctor Strange 2, but I don't think it's going to be in a massive capacity. Like, I think he's just going to pop in and maybe tell them who Kang is. Like, oh yeah, I met this guy, you know, look out for him. He's going to be popping his head up now, like an evil variant of him. And I'm sure they'll be like, variant? What are you talking about? You know, and that kind of will just spread all that out. But, yeah, I don't know. I think Hawkeye's going to be good one, from what I've heard.
Hawkeye. We'll see.
No, I think it's not for Hawkeye the character, but I just think for what the show is building. Like, you know, stuff that I've heard, like rumors that I've heard, like Kingpin, Daredevil.
True.
This sort of shit, like, you know, and obviously Kate Bishop, potential like Young Avengers, Yelena, Black Widow, that sort of thing. Like, you know, I think it's going to be big. Like, so
yeah.
But like, I think it could be potentially like the death of Jeremy Renner's character. Like, I would not be surprised if he dies in the show, and that's kind of his send off. Yeah. Great way to go, I think, to be honest.
Iron Man's nanosuits.
Yeah.
It's helping out a little bit. It's a nanosuit, bro. It can be anything.
Exactly. Let me see. Bit of Star Wars news. Did you see that apparently John Boyega is getting his own Finn series?
Really?
Yeah, six-parter
On Disney Plus?
On Disney Plus, yeah.
After he came out and said they're not going to Disney Plus me?
Apparently this is coming. So,
okay. I'm down.
Yeah, like I think, if what like Star Wars are trying to do is I think they're trying to put out a lot of fires from the sequel trilogy, and I think, everything that they're trying to do with the Mandoverse is to try and bridge the gap a little better and maybe try and fix some stuff, or maybe tell an epic story in the middle that maybe syncs to episode 7 better, which kind of puts out a bit of a fire. Then I think they just forget about episode 8, and then maybe what we might get is a Finn series that takes place after episode 9, and we might see we might actually get the chance to see his Jedi training and stuff like that.
Maybe Grogu trains him.
Do you think Grogu survived Kylo Ren?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I'll be honest with you.
I don't think so.
I mean, if they push so much into the show, I wouldn't see why not.
You think he did survive?
I would say so, because I mean, as far as Mando being that Grogu was, taken up by Luke, it's like, I mean, like, where do you why would you give us such a little bit of that and then kill it?
Well, I think Grogu himself will be around in Mando 3 and the Boba Fett show and all that sort of thing, and I think he's going to be with Luke for a while going forward. But I don't know if he survives episode 7. That's what I think. Because
on this journey, Finn doesn't know what to do with himself after the events of the last episode, but he wants to be a Jedi. He needs to find training. He picks up some of Luke's old journals, and he finds himself over to the planet of Dagobah, where Grogu comes out and is like the new Yoda. He's Grogu.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. I can see any of it happening. I just I don't again. You need to see how they bridge the gap, I suppose, between episode 7, because from what we have seen and kind of understand is that Kylo goes in and just destroys that entire temple, and at the very end of episode 9, if you get a breakdown of all the Force ghosts and stuff that appear, Ahsoka Tano is one of them, so we know Ahsoka's dead. So by the time it comes around to Rey taking over, Ahsoka's dead. So Ahsoka, I would have presumed would have been very close with Grogu in the temple. I presume they were masters on the council and stuff or whatever. So I don't know if Kylo can go in and wipe out that whole council. Maybe not. He obviously didn't kill Luke, but yeah, I don't know. I this is intriguing me. I'm very intrigued to see where it goes, because I know Favreau and Filoni are going to tell a great story, and they're going to pull it off very well. And I just think that it will give a bit of saving grace to that bridge between 6 and 7. 8 is the Titanic. It's gone. It's done. It's sunk. But episode 9, I think if they go and do something really cool with Finn after, maybe it helps out episode 9 a little bit as well. I don't know. I think they're really trying to put out the fires of that sequel trilogy.
Well, I thought 9 was worse than 8. I'm not gonna lie. I can't. I know there's a lot of things we didn't like about 8, but I feel like it's a way better movie than 9.
8 is better than 9.
Yeah.
I need to rewatch 8, because I've seen it twice, and I've hated it both times just because I grew up worshiping Luke Skywalker, and I just hated what. Right. I think I need to just kind of maybe just skip the Luke scenes or something like that, and just try and watch the rest of the movie.
I don't love what they did with Luke, but I love the way they told the story of what was going on, where they showed the scene with Luke from 3 different perspectives, what Kylo thought was going on, what Luke thought was going on, and what was really going on.
Yeah.
I thought the way the movie was shot, the cinematography, I thought there was way more memorable scenes, and way more dramatic colors, things that I just thought were absolutely gorgeous in episode 8. And I thought a lot of the themes were a lot better. I just think that it was the Luke part that sucked. The very intro just tainted the whole thing.
Yeah.
But the idea of Luke having a moment of weakness as a hero and getting angry and doing something he might not want to do totally works out in the Star Wars universe. That is completely within Luke's character. Rian Johnson was not wrong about that. But the beginning part of it, where he just throws the shit over and doesn't want to be part of everything, that part not so much. But everyone's like, oh man, he tried to kill his nephew. How could he do that? That's not Luke. Go back and watch Return of the Jedi and tell me that that is not directly from Return of the Jedi, because it is.
Yeah, like the parts that I kind of don't like buy is like, you know, I understand, you know, Luke is his temple falls and he's in despair, but I just don't see him leaving Leia and Han and all these people for like 10, 15 years. I just don't see that happening. Like him going and living on the west coast of Ireland for fucking 15 years in exile, like drinking fucking titty milk. Like, you know, it was ridiculous.
It made him
to me.
They really made Luke a joke in the beginning of that movie.
Like, and I feel so bad for Mark Hamill as well, because like I've watched so many interviews, and you know, I've heard that he had screaming matches with Rainn Wilson or with Rainn Johnson, like where he's just like, this is not the character of Luke Skywalker. He would never leave Leia. He would never abandon the Republic. Blah blah blah. You know, and it's like, they just had this like he had that idea and he wanted to go with it, like, and just he just would not listen to someone like Mark Hamill, who's like played that character pretty much his entire fucking life, who knows the character back to front, who was like friends with Lucas, knows the story, knows where it was meant to go, like read all the legends, and it's just it's tough.
It's sad.
It's tough for me to swallow it, like, you know. And I think what could have potentially saved it was if they did a flashback scene to maybe a CGI Luke fighting Snoke and getting the shit kicked out of him or something by Snoke, because, like, you know, it's known that they did fight, and Luke lost that fight, but like maybe that's what sends him with his tail between his legs, you know. But we need to see it. We can't just kind of go on, you know, him telling this story. Like, you need to see some big epic fight, and he needs to lose it. It's kind of like when Yoda fights Palpatine and Yoda fails, and then Yoda's like, into exile I go, see you in fucking whatever 15 years. You know, that makes sense, because it's like, I've fought the big bad and I've lost. There's nothing I can do here. I'm gone. But like, we're just to kind of hear the tale of Luke Skywalker vanishing, and people think he's a myth and all this shit, so he's been gone a long time. But it's like, why? Like, show us why, tell us why. You know, it's just that really got to me as a fan.
It really did feel like a rehash of Yoda, but like you guys said, it doesn't make sense, because, you know, Luke has all these people, whereas Yoda, it didn't really matter. Like, he could have gone off and been on his own, and it's completely fine. Like, trying to, like, it really felt like they were trying to just redo Yoda.
Yeah, well, like,
but in a weirder way.
From what we saw, like, we leave episode 6, Luke wins the war. Luke kills the Emperor. He kills Vader, as far as people know. Like, he's a feared character in the galaxy. It's like, how does he go from that to being the king of the world to being like a recluse hiding away at the edge of space? Like, I just, like, there's a massive gap there, and you haven't told us why. You tell us that, you know, he loses Ben, but I just don't see that as being enough. Like, I don't think that justifies his actions, and it's just not. It's not the character. It's not who.
And what was his status before the temple was destroyed? Was it Grandmaster?
He's. I don't think. Does it go above Master? Like, I think, you know, it was always.
I could have sworn it goes above Master.
I'll be honest with you. Are you talking about Luke?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I was the last Jedi, I would name myself the Grandmaster. Who's gonna fucking
That's
stop
what
me?
I was
exactly. Like, he's the most powerful being in the galaxy. Like, you know, why not?
Yeah.
I think that annoyed me about episode 8 as well was how they just killed Snoke off in the middle of the movie without like any real kind of. It just happened. I was just kind of remember thinking to myself, like, whoa, they killed him in the middle of 8. Like, I thought he was gonna die in 9. Like, you know. It was just so weird, and I don't know if that was like a kind of shock factor to try and flip the script. If it was, it worked for sure. But like, again, it kind of made episode 7 and half of 8 just kind of pointless. Where it's like they kind of were building this story, and then it's like, see you later. You know, he's dead.
Yeah.
And it's like, now Kylo's the Grand Supreme or Supreme Chancellor or whatever they were calling them.
Yeah.
Ugh.
What is that? I forgot what that scene was with Luke. Was he projecting himself?
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
Was it
That annoyed me
tangible?
as well.
I couldn't remember.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, they say that's what kills him. Like, you know, like having to send his Force ghost across or project himself across the universe. Like, the power to actually do that is what kills him in the end. And it's just like,
then why not just end up there in the first place? He's just gonna die.
Yeah, let him just die on his sword. Like, you know, oh, bro. Because I knew something was up with that scene the second I saw the lightsaber, because it's like he's using Rey's lightsaber that got destroyed in the scene before. It got split in half with Kylo and Rey fighting for it, and then you see him there holding his original lightsaber. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? I was like, this doesn't add up. And then it's like, oh yeah, okay, he's a projection.
Now, this may seem like a cop-out, but that's the only reason why I brought this up, because in 9, if you see Ahsoka as like Force Ghost, who's to say that that's not just a Force Ghost that she created on her own because she was called to do so?
Oh, yeah, I don't know, like, cause, well, my understanding of that last scene in the last scene of the series was all the Force Ghosts appear, like, you know, it's the light side of the Force all appearing to say to her, like, you know, you have all of us, like, you have the full power of the light side. And then in that big state, like, he has like the big like kind of cathedral or whatever, and it's all the Sith in the stands, like, so it's like, you know, all of the Jedi versus all of the Sith, like, so that's what I presumed it was. And I presume it's only the dead that can be there, like the ghosts, like the actual living Force. So I don't know if a projection would be able to survive that. But maybe, I don't know, maybe if Ahsoka, if the show pops off beyond belief and becomes the most fucking important thing ever, I'm sure they just write that in, you know, they just say, yeah, actually she wasn't dead, she was just doing a Luke projection, and here we go, she's going into episode 10 or whatever, you know?
Well, and I mean, just like Luke, wasn't Ahsoka like a beloved character?
Yeah. Like, she's been around as well for almost the entire thing as well. Like, you know, she appears between episode 2 and 3, and she's Anakin's little Padawan. Like, she appears as like a 12-year-old girl, like, and you know, she's being trained by Anakin Skywalker, and then has survived all the way, from what we know, has survived all the way up past episode 6 and into like the Mandoverse, which is like 2, 3, 4, 5 years after Return of the Jedi. So like, she's probably one of the longest living characters in Star Wars at the moment in the timeline. Is Ahsoka.
He just gets killed by Ben.
That's I think I don't know.
It
Like, you see,
it's making me sad.
You see the temple burning, and it's like, how can one Padawan do that? Like, I know he's like a descendant of Vader, but like, come on, how is he wiping out the entire thing? And like the Knights of Ren as well, that pissed me off, because it's like they were built up for 3 movies, and we saw like 5 minutes of them fighting at the end of the last movie, and it was shit. I was like, here come the Knights of Ren. I was like, I remember like on the lead up, like trying to watch episode 8 and stuff. I'm like, give us Knights of Ren content. I want to see it. Like, and then it was just like, there was nothing there. And by the time we got around to seeing nothing, I just didn't give a shit about them anymore either. Like, you know, so it was just so anticlimactic. It's heartbreaking. Did you see
I'm sad now.
Did you see Ben Kingsley was on the red carpet for Shang-Chi, the premiere? That was kind of a nice.
Already, don't worry.
Yeah, nice little cameo for him in the movie, I think. But I think it's like hilarious that they put him in. I heard as well James Gunn, I know we've talked a lot about the Suicide Squad and stuff, but James Gunn apparently pitched to Warner Brothers that he wanted Henry Cavill to appear as the villain in the movie. Like, which I think would have been really cool, but you know, I don't know. Obviously they couldn't get him or whatever.
Do you think they just grabbed Starro because they thought he looked really goofy?
I think they just, like, obviously had plans to maybe try and bring some bigger characters in, but then just went ahead and was like, look, let's just make it about the Suicide Squad and bring in some B-list villains for them to fight, or super villains.
I think that's James Gunn's, like, I think that's his MO. He loves those tiny characters. I think he knows about Starros. Was like, I'm going to put Starros in a fucking movie one day, and did it.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's had that plan since he was 15.
Yeah.
he's that dude.
Yeah, for sure. I heard a thing about, because I know there was talks of a Batgirl movie coming out. Heard this week that they said a potential rumor that it actually might be taking place in the Snyderverse, which is very strange. So, like, you know, I think what they had originally said was potentially it was going to be in the, like, Pattinson verse, or whatever you want to call it. But now they're saying that it's Snyderverse. So is that them kind of reopening a lot of doors, potential like returns of Cavill again? And I don't know, like, I don't know what they're doing, but I kind of want to see that universe live. I don't want to see another fucking reboot. Like, I think, you know, continue with what you've done, let Flash fix a lot of the bullshit, and then just, I think they need to just continue with what they've got, try and build that base, because like, can DC do more reboots, bro? Like honestly, can they do more reboots though? Like, come on, do like another Batman, another Superman. You know,
I think they could.
Yeah.
Oh fuck yeah, dude! People show up for it. Look, Henry Cavill was like the only really good part of it. Like Ben Affleck, even though he was a good Batman, he's all right, bro. Like you can get another Batman in there who works better, I think. Excuse me. Okay. Like I just, Batman, like he wasn't the end all be all Batman. Whether it's him or the stories, I don't know. Wonder Woman was all right. Wonder Woman 1984 kind of ruined the Wonder Woman character for me, where I'm just like, this is just a crappy character now. Yeah. Aquaman fucking sucks. The Flash fucking sucks. Like there's so much bad with the Snyderverse. It just sucks. Like it's not good enough. I'm sorry. I hate it.
Yeah, I just I know like it's like, they're talking about it as if it's like Snyder's verse, but like it seems like they're trying to continue that universe without him. Like it's like if they're doing a Batgirl movie that's based in that universe, if they're doing the Flash movie, which is Ezra Miller and so on, and Ben Affleck and all these people, like they're doing it without Snyder. So I don't know. That tells me that like they obviously mean to somehow keep that universe alive.
I mean, like maybe they will, but I just don't think there's a good enough reason to keep that universe going. Even though they might be good characters, Henry Cavill might be a really good Batman. Superman.
Yeah.
Were the movies good enough? Like Batman vs Superman wasn't that great. Justice League was not that great. Like there's just all this stuff that even though they might be really good portrayals of the character, the actual stories that have been built up in that universe, I just don't think are worth keeping around. Like they're not good enough for saving, in my opinion. I wish they would, take the foot off the gas off this. Let the characters kind of reset for a couple of years and then come back and be like, man, we need another Superman movie. Perfect time. Come in and make another Superman movie.
I really liked Man of Steel. Like, really liked it. Thought Henry Cavill was incredible. I liked the Zod story. And then, like, I was a big fan of how they brought Ben Affleck in, and at the start of, like, Batman versus Superman, you're seeing it from Batman's, like, POV, and you're seeing Metropolis get destroyed, and Wayne Tower and Metropolis gets flattened, and then like it's him like going like, no, we can't let this alien live on this planet. Like I loved all that. Like there was parts of those movies that were shit. Like I hated the Lex Luthor and the whole Martha scene was silly and all this stuff. But like there was a lot of good about that movie. Like if you watch the ultimate cut of that movie, it's good. It's a good film. It's a really good film.
I would love to just keep in my head that wasn't like the Lex Luthor. Like that was his son. A snobby little rich kid, because God, I can't see myself accepting that is the Lex Luthor,
Yeah.
There's nothing badass about him. I hated what's his name, like Jesse
Eisenberg.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I hated him so much as Lex Luthor.
Yeah, he was so.
It was a very frantic Luthor.
Yeah.
Like if they would have just called him like, because I think Lex's son's name is Alex Luthor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like I think if they would have just been calling him Alex throughout the whole movie, I would have been more content with the character. But like the fact that they just kept like saying Lex, I'm like, no, this ain't Lex Luthor. Like this is just some snobby little rich kid.
It was a very, very strange direction to take the character. Like, Lex is always portrayed as this like dominant and powerful character, and like in this movie he's like this little dweeby nerd who can't even look at women and all this sort of stuff. Like he has no confidence, nothing. Like, and he just like comes across as like heavily intelligent, like autistic person who can't like function in society. And I'm just like, what are you doing? Like this is not Lex Luthor. Like, so like I think that direction really hurt the movie. But like there's a lot of it I really liked, and like I love the Snyder Cut. I think the Snyder Cut was great.
Yeah. Were there any movies with Jesse Eisenberg that came out right before Man of Steel that might have like given the incentive to put him in there?
That Facebook movie, he was in The Social Network.
When he played Zuckerberg.
Yeah, Zombieland.
Zombieland.
Yeah.
Zombieland was pretty big and like fun.
That was a good movie. Yeah. I don't know how you look at that movie and go, "There's our Lex Luthor."
Yeah, like Columbus is timid. He's not really like meant to be such a like embossed or like character that can carry something. So I don't know why they got the idea like, oh man, it might have just been that Jesse Eisenberg was hot at the time.
Yeah, like that Social Network movie was a massive movie, and like, you know, he's playing Mark Zuckerberg, one of the, like, you know, intellectual, like, fucking, like, influencers of our generation and so on. So maybe, but again, I would never watch his portrayal of Mark Zuckerberg and go, Jesus, he'd make a good Lex Luthor, like, you know. I would never put the two of them together, you know. Never.
Man, it's almost like Zack Snyder really gets more credit than he deserves.
You know, honestly, like, I really don't know many movies that were like made with Zack Snyder. Like, I think I know more.
Watchmen?
Like
300.
I never watched Watchmen.
Oh my god!
I watched 300.
Watchmen, dude. I actually only.
I will watch it.
I was about to say this, right? I only had this conversation with my girlfriend earlier today. She, like, Watchmen's one of her favorite movies. Like, she loves it so much. And you know, she always says that Watchmen was like way before its time, and it would have done a lot better now. And I was like, I kind of understand what she's saying, and in a lot of ways she's right. But at the same time, I think if that was released now, I think it would be like a fucking Joss Whedon cut of the Justice League sort of like vibe to it. I just think it wouldn't be able to survive the powerhouse that is the MCU right now. But if you, like, that movie came out in like 2009, it was like the MCU had just started, and Watchmen is incredible.
Have you not seen Watchmen, Alex?
No,
it's incredible. It's
a great movie.
It's a movie you have to watch, bro. It's fantastic. I think you should be able to get your hands on like an ultimate cut of it. It's a long one, like it's like 3.5 hours, but it's fucking worth it. It's so good. I absolutely love that movie.
To be completely honest, guys, I've never really been too much of a TV or movie buff, but I am like slowly inching my way towards getting into all of the movies and TV shows that I've missed in my time being because I was so busy, or if I wanted to play a video game instead. Yeah. So if you guys can do me a huge favor, send me a list of your top 5. I will watch your top 5, and top I will 5, like. I'd love to
comic book movies of all time, or any movies.
Anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah, like we'll do up some shit on Discord or something like that for sure.
Yeah.
I think you need to watch Watchmen though. Yeah, for sure. Like it was epic for its time.
The portrayal of like Rorschach and like Dr. Manhattan was fucking beautiful.
And then after you watch Watchmen, go and watch the series, because the series like took up pretty much after the movie and was really good, really good.
And that's the thing. I didn't even know there was a series.
Yeah, HBO made it, and it was actually some of the episodes were kind of a bit meh, but then there was a couple of the episodes, like there's one called A God Walks Into a Bar. That's one of the best episodes of TV I think I've ever seen. Like, it was mind blowing, so good. So yeah, like there's, man, I'm sure I could probably write lists that would keep you busy for the next 2 years, like, you know. So there's millions of stuff out there.
Like, dude, like I'm serious. Like, I want like everyone in this chat, like in this podcast, even in chat, if you need to, just 100%. Send me a list.
Yeah, absolutely. I will do that with ease. I saw someone on TikTok, they put up this thing where it was a dude who said that he had never seen a superhero movie before, and he went and got a chronological release list of every single fucking superhero film, like not just Marvel, like all the DC stuff, all the Fox stuff, and he went and watched everything from the release date. And yeah, bro, I have that book sitting right beside me right now as well.
It's that good.
A little bit of disservice to the comic book, though. No,
what was that?
You don't think the movie did a little bit disservice to like the heart of the comic book? That's so cool.
That's my girlfriend.
That's really awesome.
She has like that just sits on her bookshelf. Like, it's a thick boy as well.
Yeah, it's a big boy.
I just always thought the book was kind of about how terrible the idea of superheroes and how they aren't really good people, and we shouldn't glorify them. And then the movie is all about like glorifying their characters. Like, Rorschach is such a disgusting,
he's
tragic,
a serial killer.
Yeah, in the comic book, and they don't glorify him at all. He's a loser.
Yeah.
Like, in the comic book, he's a fucking loser, and you did not want to be Rorschach. Like, whatever, like, he sucked.
Yeah.
But in the movie, they're like, man, Rorschach's kind of fucking cool. Like, he's fucking kick his ass. Like, he's got some stuff going on for him.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I could be Rorschach.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just felt like Zack Snyder, a lot of the times missed the point just to make a cool scene.
Just glorifies them.
Maybe. That opening scene with Jeffrey Dean Morgan, though, holy, in the movie, like, it's
Oh my
so
God.
good, dude. So good. I don't even want to talk about the movie though. I want Alex to watch it. If
Go
you
watch it,
if you
Alex.
if you could
100%.
if you could do me a favor, Alex, and have that film watched before you come back to this podcast, because I would love to just spend 10 minutes talking with you about it. Someone who's like seen it now in 2021, who's like a comic fan and all this stuff. I'd be very interested to see your take on it.
Is it on HBO? Is it on HBO Max?
Yeah, it should be. Yeah.
The actual movie, not the series.
As far as I know, it is.
I might have to give that a rewatch because I haven't seen it in years.
Bro, if you can get your hands, now I pirate the movie, but you can get the ultimate version of it. I don't have a choice, bro. Look, I live in Ireland and we don't have HBO Max or any of this shit. Like, I can't stream it if it's not on Netflix. I have no other way to get it. So, and I'm not fucking buying it like on like Blu-ray or whatever. So yeah. Look, it is what it is. But get your hands on the Ultimate Edition if you can. Like, it's beyond director's cut. Like, it's fucking amazing. So good. And Snyder did an ultimate version of Batman vs Superman as well. And I honestly think it's worth a watch if you can just block out Lex and block out the Martha thing. It's fucking great as well. Like, I only watched it recently and it's so good.
Martha thing.
Yeah, just block out Martha, block out. Just go to the bathroom when those scenes are on. Like, you know, pop some fresh popcorn. Just, you know, leave the room and then just pop back in and just it didn't happen.
So, just so you guys know, I sent each of you just a personal video that you can watch later. That's the closest thing that I know to Watchmen is a parody based on SpongeBob's World.
Oh my god,
that's funny.
It was actually not bad. It made me want to watch the movie back then, but I was still busy at the time. But one of the questions I had for the whole group is, how do you guys feel about major villains that supposedly should be living continuously in the universe dying in one shot, like in one movie?
Give us an example of what you mean.
Zod in Man of Steel.
Okay. Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, someone who has like such a deep history and he dies in one film.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's fine, man. I think that you have to approach movies as a completely different medium from comic books. And in a lot of cases, there's never going to be enough movies to fulfill all the stories that you want to see.
Yeah.
And so rather than, you know, having these kind of half measures, just have a really good movie with Zod in it and kill him off. And if he doesn't come back, like, it's a disappointment for comic book people, but it's a service to that movie, and everything within the movie should be a service to that movie being good. Whether it's a sequel, like, even if it's going to be a sequel or a trilogy, anything you can do to make that one movie good, the one you sit in, like, they need to at all costs make that movie worthwhile.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, 100%. And I think as well, like, now I think everyone, or like all these big studios, are now kind of harping on about like multiverses and all this sort of shit. So it's kind of like, you know, just the version of the movie that you're watching, that Zod died, but you know, it is what it is. Like, that's his story. Like,
is that canon with Zod becoming Doomsday, or was that like their twist, like, on making like a Doomsday in that universe? Because I don't really know anything about the DC like comics or anything like that, so I can't know if like Zod becoming Doomsday was like canon to the actual comics.
I wouldn't be able to tell you like the original kind of origin of Doomsday. Like, I always have known like Doomsday was one of, like, Doomsday and Darkseid are like Superman's biggest foes. Like, but I don't know the original kind of telling of the Doomsday story. So I don't know if they just went crazy with it or what. Like, I don't know.
I might have a broken version of how I remember it. Doomsday was an experiment within Krypton, and I think he was like designed to be a destroyer.
Yeah. And
after the destruction of Krypton, I believe he was like, if I'm not mistaken, I think he was out in space. He finally made his way to Earth. After finding out that, like, you know, there's a Kryptonian there, and I believe he's just designed to kill Kryptonians. and he can do such a good job at it, but because he actually, quote unquote, killed Superman and was going to wreak havoc on Earth itself, and then Superman comes back eventually and fights him and manages to defeat him. But in terms of who Doomsday is, he's immortal. He will always come back, even if he's destroyed.
Interesting, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I loved the start of the Snyder Cut. The way the death of Superman like rippled out. I loved that kind of the ripple effect and stuff, and it was heard in like Themyscira and all that sort of thing. Like I thought that was a really kind of epic fucking start to the Snyder Cut, and just how it kind of linked the other movies together and stuff like that. I thought it was very clever. For sure. Any other news, guys?
Captain America 4. I believe it was confirmed that Anthony Mackie is signed in as the main character.
Someone said that. Was Drunky? Did you say that to me the other day or something about Mackie signing his contract, and like he's cemented in there now. He's got it signed. So, yeah, I would not be surprised though if on top of his version of Cap, we get like Captain Carter as well. I really would not be surprised.
The only thing I can't say, Finto, is I told you so. I knew there was going to be a Captain America movie with him.
I am shocked by it, to be honest. Like I didn't think that it would hold enough of a mantle to have his own solo movie as Captain America. I presumed it would have just continued the kind of Anthony Mackie style throughout the movies, where he'd be a supporting character, kind of dropping in everywhere. I would have been shocked if he wasn't in all of the major movies going forward. But to get his own movie, look, it's great. Like I think it's fantastic. Like it's going to be Black Panther all over again. Like I think like it's going to be such a cultural like phenomenon for everybody in across the world. Like I'll never forget going to see Black Panther for the first time. Like it was just amazing to see all these young kids coming out, like just so happy that they had a black superhero. Like it was fucking like it was epic to be a part of that. Like it was just insane, and it was something that like obviously I had never even thought, like pretty much growing up, like all the superheroes were white guys, like so like I never thought about it, like I never thought that like young black kids didn't have like a superhero that they could see themselves being looking in the mirror and all. Like it just was never anything I thought about as a child. Like, and just seeing all these young kids coming out just over the moon is just insane. So like to have a Captain America movie come out and do the same thing for a lot of people is incredible. I'll never have a bad word to say about it, like ever. It's amazing.
100%. Honest to God, feel like that the Disney Plus show did so much fucking damage to the Captain America character, to like all the bubble of characters that surround Captain America storylines, that they feel like they needed a whole ass movie with like a high end director
just to fix
kind of come in and save it. And all this. Because they just that show was so weak. It's the weakest Disney Plus show. As much as I dislike Loki, I liked it more than Captain or Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And so I don't think they wanted to lose the Captain America movie title, because that thing puts butts in seats, man. You see a Captain America, like people are showing up to that movie.
Yeah. And
you can't do it with anyone other than Anthony Mackie right now, or else the uproar would be unbelievable.
Yeah.
I think it was kind of inevitable that this movie was going to be made in a sense. But I am very excited to see what they can do with Falcon, with a huge budget being Captain America. I can't wait to see what they do with the full budget with that suit. And God help me if they make that suit stay the same. It's going to be they need to CGI the whole thing on. You can't have his neck thing coming off his neck, because I know that's how it really works, because we're in the real world, but we need a solid suit for him, man. I'm really excited to see what they can do for him with a $2 million budget or what have you.
Yeah. I really felt that the strong suit behind Falcon and the Winter Soldier was the build up to him getting the suit, but not so much like all the other stuff. I was actually really concerned with all of the things that they were talking about, and I was interested, and I was engaged. But when they were talking about the Flag Smashers and then that kind of story, that story felt so chopped up and like done wrong.
Well, like,
because of
if you remember, like that was all kind of product of the coronavirus. They had to change the storyline, like, you know, like they went back and reshot it and re-edited the whole show, like, so again, it was
which is really sad.
It was such a shit look for. It's just a terrible look for everyone involved in that show, you know, for sure.
And that's what, like, and sometimes when I see stuff like this is what I think is really hard about making shows like this. When you make something based on something that could be a pandemic, or it could be a world event that like causes destruction, like it can get so sensitive because something occurs in between, and then you're like, shit, we got to pull it.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Send it, bro.
Send it, bro.
No, I would have done the same thing, Drunky. Yeah. I would have full sent it. I would have, you know, because it's not COVID. It was their designed disease and virus.
Yeah.
It is not COVID. People need to understand that stories are exactly as they are. They're stories.
Of course.
And they're trying to tell their story the way that they want. And when it has to be broken up due to sensitivity issues, like, that hurts it so badly.
Yeah, I think you're right in what you're saying. Like, I think they can't let the real world dictate story in a fucking TV show. Like, you know, just because they're using the word vaccine, like, it's fucking ridiculous. Like,
yeah. Well, we use vaccines like on the daily.
Of course.
Yeah. So why not? And but that's why I say that. What were you saying, Jokey?
Speak for yourself.
But that's why I say that the conversations that Sam has with Isaiah and all of those things that occurred and all of the things that like actually mattered to that community, and to like really understand that like they were taken advantage of, and now it's their time, and like, but also Sam being afraid to like take up the mantle, that was beautiful.
It was
like, and
that was great.
And because it wasn't affected by the whole COVID pandemic, it wasn't ruined.
Yeah.
I love that. I love those scenes.
I agree. They were great. They really were. I just think the show, like, it really speaks volumes that one, like, 35-minute episode of animated TV gave a better Captain America with Peggy Carter. Like, it really just kind of speaks volumes to how that show was actually received to the general public. As you say, there's a lot of really like positive points and really like cool stuff in that show. I love George St. Pierre coming back, for example. Like, that was like one of the best kept secrets Marvel have ever had. Like, no one knew that George St. Pierre, GSP, was going to be in that show. And he just showed up out of nowhere, and I was like, what the fuck? I was like, GSP's in this? I was like, this is amazing. So yeah, that was good. I kind of like Bucky's story, but I don't know, it kind of went nowhere like at the same time. But, you know, like, there's definitely positives to it, but I just think, like, you know, if Peggy Carter can take more of a kind of you know, like, positive vibe in the general public, and so much so that like 20 minutes of TV made like the Twitter account change all the fucking pictures and everything. They took everything away from Sam Wilson and just put up pictures of a fucking drawing of a female character. Like it's just crazy. You know, he's getting his own real movie, and it's like an animated TV show has come out that's blown your entire six episode series out of the water. Like, so, you know, that's gotta make them think like wow, what happened there? Like, what did we do wrong there?
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Big sigh.
Yeah, big sigh. But I think, like, you know, I have really high hopes for the future of the Disney series. Like, and I think Hawkeye is going to be the start of it. I think it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it. Guys, we are like just over the 3-hour mark, so I think that's probably a good little ending point. Unless anybody has anything else to speak about whilst we are here.
I think I'm all spoken out.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I've pretty much talked about what I wanted to talk about.
Nice. Excellent. Okay, guys, everybody in chat, thank you so much for being here. Anybody who's watching us on YouTube, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, turn on them noties, all that usual YouTube stuff. And we'll be off next week, but we'll be back on the 3rd of September. So we'll see you guys then. Guys, have a great
Take
night.
care, guys.
Good night.
Later.
Later, guys.